All right.
Okay. Hey guys. I'm not hosting this time around, but I'm starting it. How's everybody doing? We have Cora's back as again. We've been putting out a couple of stuff lately this time around. Uh, and we're here to talk about. Well, oh yeah, I'm not even wearing a DC shirt. Sorry about that.
I'm
Um,
wearing an X-Men shirt, so you're not
yeah.
alone.
So yeah, we're talking about Supergirl. And we're kind of getting an overhaul of the season. I was gonna do this on my main channel, but then I said, you know what? I did 20 something thought videos for the whole season. I don't think I need to do an overhaul. But then Jay was like, how about we get together and just talk about it on the core channel? I was like, all right, let's do that. And same time, it was like same time, let's do it. So here we are. Not every member, because not every member watches the show or they're behind on the show.
Mhm.
But we're the three that pretty much watched it from beginning to end and just finished it right there. So
Yep,
we're here to talk.
and all three of us review it too, so
Yeah,
there's always that.
Yeah, I missed out on the finale, but that was because of computer problems.
but we're here, guys, to talk. We're just gonna talk about it. Of course, yeah, there's gonna be a little Q&A at the end. You guys can access. What do we expect from the season three? Who's in the pod? That's probably the biggest question. What's in the pod? What's in the pod?
Yep.
Um, so we're definitely gonna go into detail, about what do we think of the episodes. We're talk about our favorite episodes, and there are gonna be some nitpicks. I think the biggest elephant in the room to me is the whole Superman ordeal. I have a lot to talk about that one, because I get it, but it's just like, all right, you gotta address that. So I'm gonna definitely address that. But yeah, we're just gonna have fun for the hour or two, don't matter. But yeah, we're just here to have fun, dudes. So if you have any questions, you leave your questions in that comment section below. Say hi. If you just want to say hi, pop in and say hi, then say pie and eat a cheese sandwich. There we go. I don't know where that came
Now,
from. I just made
now
that.
I'm now I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah, I don't know where that one came. I just made that part up.
Anyway, okay, so let's get this started. So general impressions, guys. What did you guys think of the show, like going in before the show was in, like when the show was first announced, and then the pilot? Brian, I'll start with you.
Alright, I like the character of Supergirl, and like the animated show and all that, and even some of the comics. So I was excited, and then they said that Melissa Benoist, who I actually saw on Glee, like I followed Glee for a long time, and they said that she was going to be Supergirl, and I actually thought it was good casting. Little did I know she'd go past expectations, but that's for later. But anyway, I went in kind of trusting the people involved, but not knowing how good it would actually be.
All right, Chris.
'Cause
What we Oh, my bad, Brian. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
sorry,
Finish yours
I
off.
just wanted to add one thing because I was really worried because it's on the it's on CBS and there aren't many good CBS shows right now. But
That's true. And CBS is the home of mostly like crime procedurals like NCIS and stuff. So like I can agree. I didn't know where it was gonna fit in with all that stuff. All right, so Chris, what were your initial thoughts before the show aired and like the when the pilot came around? Right, so Chris,
Sorry. uh, when they announced Supergirl was coming, uh, I was happy. I was like, all right, cool. Girl of Steel coming. That's good. I think pretty much we all thought, okay, it's being produced by the same people that do Flash and Arrow, or just Flash. But it was like, okay, is this in the same world? Just on a different network. Um, but as me being probably a little older than most of you guys, I remember that CBS has never really had a big variety of like action sci-fi-esque themed shows. I mean, the last one I can remember was actually I don't even remember. It was a long time ago. But yeah, CBS pretty much became a home for the comedies and like crime dramas. You know, from shows like Blue Bloods now. You know, all the NCISs that's on there, Criminal Minds. One of my favorite shows, Hawaii Five O, is on there. Now they got Limitless over there, and they got the Rush Hour show. I still haven't watched yet. It's stuck on my DVR. I haven't watched it yet. I'm conflicted if I want to watch it. But and a lot of comedies. We've seen a lot of comedies. So this is one of the first shows that is really dabbles into that sci-fi comic realm in a long time for CBS. And I was scared because, you know, you're a little scared because, you know, it's like, are they going to do this show right or are they going to do it dirty? You know, because it's one of its kind, you know. And I felt that, it's going to go down that route of what happened with a lot of those superhero shows that was on NBC, not just including Constantine, but kind of an original hero. Remember the Cape? That was on NBC. Look how that show ended. That show was another one that ended dirty. So
One and done.
Yeah, so I was really nervous if they were gonna pull that off as well. Like, okay, they're gonna go that route of being dirty with this show. And then when they finally showed who was gonna be casted, I don't watch Glee. Never watched it. Never really had an interest in watching it. Nothing against the cast, because there are some members on there that I actually love. I mean, the what's her name? Yeah, Jane Lynch. I love Jane Lynch. She's funny to me. She always can get a laugh out of me.
Also, Grant was on there. Like, for a long time.
But I never watched it. So, but you know, seeing her, and then I'm seeing but I'm like, wait, she's got brown hair. I was like, they're gonna dye her hair. She's gonna get her hair blonde, right? And then when you saw her in costume, I dug the costume. I was like, it's an homage to her classic look, with, you know, and I was fine with it. And once they showed her first appearance, like, I was just like, she has that quirkiness, but you love it about her, like, and she smiles. It was just like, you can't be mad at her about it. So I was happy about it. I really was. I really was. So I'm glad it's found its niche. Like I said off air, it's found its niche.
Yeah. For me, like, I'm a big Supergirl fan. Like, I've joked around about this a lot. If you know me, my dad is a huge Superman fan. As a kid, he tried to shove that in my face all the time. Superman this, Superman that, Superman, Superman, Superman. When I got into Batman, it kind of broke his heart because he was like, oh. But I've always liked the extended Super family a lot more than actual Clark. Like, no disrespect to Clark, but I've been more interested in, like, Kara, Connor, Mon-El, like all the other people in his extended family more than him himself. So when I heard Supergirl was getting a TV show, I got really excited. Say what you want about Arrow, but Berlanti does powers justice in The Flash, so I was like, I have a feeling the effects are going to be at least decent and get better as they go along, and they did. And Melissa, she just brings such a presence to Supergirl. She really brings that character to life, and she handles emotions perfectly whenever she does, like, big emotional stuff. It's really when she really shines. Same with Barry, really. So I think, like, Berlanti has found his thing with his actors. I don't know. I loved it. We're gonna definitely go more into detail about what we loved about her. But as soon as I saw the costume, I was like, I'm sold. And this will kind of segue into the next topic I wanted to go into. So a lot of people, when the show first came out, they were like, this is definitely too girl. A lot of people, when they made their first impression, they're like, this is too girly, this is too Devil Wears Prada or whatever. Like, they seem like they're really trying too hard to cater toward the female audience. They're pushing the feminism thing a bit too much, which I can agree with in some episodes, but, like, for the most part, I liked it. So Chris, what did you think? What do you think about like that first kind of initial reaction of, oh, it's too feminine, or they're pushing feminism too hard, or and all that other stuff?
Um, I would definitely agree with most part of it, especially when they first showed the first that 6 minute trailer. I think it was. I think that was. Um, and in the trailer, some people enjoyed it, but then they were kind of also turned off, especially with the theme song that they were playing. That is my fight. So yeah, with that very overpowered like theme of girl power, and I was fine with that. I'm just like I wasn't really caring about the theme, but the presence of what it was proven was actually. I was like, yeah, I'm fine with it, but it was kind of just like how the trio of a superhero news said, Hector. I think it was Hector who said it too. Like this may turn people off because of that theme, and he was right because there were a lot of people that I've known personally that have said, I wasn't really didn't feel that song, you know, besides Kyle, Malcolm, besides Kyle, but there was other people that were just like, I don't like that, like, but I will agree, yeah, they did kind of push that feminism a little bit, and I have nothing against feminism, at all when it's handled right and proper. But at times, especially with Cat Grant, they really push that really kind of hard. Like she's a very powerful, independent woman. She doesn't need a man's help. And I was like, I get that, Cat. And I was getting that with, I was basically saying, I get that, producers and writers, but you don't have to keep shoving that in my face every time. It's like I get it. I
Yeah,
get where she
that
is. I
that was
know.
that was
I
a big
respect.
hiccup for the first few episodes. I definitely agree.
Yeah,
I
and
even
that was my problem with the first couple episodes. Is like, yeah, they kept pushing that, shoving it, like, yeah, here, take some more, yeah, take another more. I was like, I get it. Stop throwing stuff at me. I get it. So, but other than that, I enjoyed what I saw for that trailer. I was like, okay, they kind of took a little bit of a different route. They kept the origin pretty much true. That yes, if technically Kara is the older cousin, not Clark. But I guess the way they explained like why she was still young, and I was like that I can accept that. Like yeah, she was stuck in the Phantom Zone, and when it came out, yeah, I was like all right, I can get that, and showcasing that yeah we're gonna have classic two members of her family, her adopted family, that have played roles in the past of the House of L. We got Dean Cain playing her adopted father, who's been Superman before in Lois and Clark back in the '90s, which I did watch, and we have
Mhm.
Helen Slater who
I
played,
was forced I was forced to watch that.
and we have Helen Slater who played Supergirl in the Supergirl movie back in the '80s, and I I love Helen Slater, but I will regretfully say this, Miss Slater, that was a bad movie.
Also forced to watch that.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
wasn't
God.
forced to watch. I was not
uh,
forced to watch either one of those. I just as me being a fan, I was just like, let me sit down. I but other than that, I like where they went with it, and that was fine. But like I said, the feminist part of it, yeah, I didn't need that being shoved in my face as much as they did in the first couple episodes.
All right, so Brian, what do you think of that whole, first impression from like, the viewing the general audience and stuff and the whole feminism thing?
all right, but quick side note, I did watch Lois and Clark. It was like a family thing where whole family sat down and watched it type thing. But yeah,
Have you had the displeasure of watching the Supergirl movie?
I've seen clips and my mom talks about how she saw it, but I hadn't seen it myself. But um, but yeah, the feminism about the show, it it did kind of worry me when I first saw like the trailers and all. I didn't mind the song. I mean, if you check my YouTube page, Rachel Turner, whatever her name is, the girl who sings that song, her whole album, including that song, is like on my best of music of last year, so I didn't mind the song, but the whole feel of it did kind of throw me off, and it wasn't. I could see it in the first few episodes, but I didn't mind it because of all the macho stuff that we see in TV and all. But it did mellow out and become like really good, and I didn't notice it. But I will say that there was one episode where it kind of was shoved in our face a little.
I know exactly which episode you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the
That
episode.
was the that was the one where I complained the most. Wasn't
Yeah,
that was the one with the anger, right? Where she was like, a man, my cousin does this, a man does the same job.
yeah, yeah. I think yeah, that's it. And I think Jay and I talked about this. It's like episode 8 or 9. It's like one of the worst of the season.
Yeah, definitely can
But
agree with that one.
but overall, by the time we got to the end, I did not care. I didn't see it. I think they all got comfortable in what they were doing.
Yeah.
And Cat Grant kind of went from just being a symbol for feminism to like a motherly role for
hmm
Kara.
So, was I the only one that was kind of bugged by the mispronunciation this entire season?
Well, it was only Cat who mispronounced it, right?
No, it's Kara. It's pronounced Kara. At least from what I've heard in every animated and like
Huh.
like audio comic or an audio drama, it's Kara. Like that's why I like the
Huh.
whole like the first few episodes I was like, why are they saying Kara?
Oh wait, yeah, you know what? Alora did pronounce. She said
Yeah,
she
Alora
was
said
saying
Kara.
Kara. She was saying yes, it's Kara. Yeah, like Sarah, Kara is but
I didn't even
I
notice
thought
that.
Cat pronouncing it. I'm like, why does she keep doing that? Like her name is Kara. It's not Kara. It's
Yeah,
Kara.
and everybody was saying it. I'm like, what? Wait, have I been hearing it wrong for 20 years? Like, is it supposed to be?
That's funny. I thought everybody else pronunciated it right, but yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, but so going back, going before we jump into the next topic, let's see who's in the comments right now. Let's pull up the chat page. Okay, Nate's here. What's up, Nate? I
Hey.
figured the big Superman fan like you would be in here.
Yep, our
And
writer on Prime or ah, Elite. Sorry.
on Elite, yep. And oh, Alana's here too. What's up, Alana?
Hey,
Yep,
sis.
I see her.
And Alana agrees that they did push the feminist stuff, you know, a bit.
Nice to see from a female perspective that it isn't just us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. All right, so let's get into the characters, guys. Let's see, who should we start with? Let's start with good old Jim. Let's start with Jimmy. I'm still gonna call him Jimmy. I don't care.
James Olsen.
Don't
Uh,
care. He's Jimmy.
I think with he was a character. Oh, excuse me. He was definitely a character that once again, a lot of people were that was getting talked about a lot too. With the whole, is this just
Yeah.
political? You know, in a sense, because I mean, look what they did with Superman, Man of Steel. Harry's black, and it's like, okay, we got Jimmy Olsen now, who's black, and McCade Brooks, I think that's his name, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was on Necessary Roughness.
Yeah, Necessary Roughness, and there he was. I watched a few episodes of that, and he was really good on that show. Um, and to see him here, he talked about like, yeah, I'm still Jimmy, I'm just a couple pounds bigger and wider than the original one. And I'm starting to come to the point, now definitely is that, the changing of a race of a character now is not too much bothers me as much. It's just that, if they're doing it for political reasons, then I'm not a part of it. If that's
Yeah.
if that is the if that if he did a screen test and the writers and everybody was like, you're perfect for the role amongst other actors, okay, I'm fine. They looked at him like, okay,
Yeah,
but if they're just
and besides, they made like a good explanation for why he was a lot bigger than he was. It's been he's been around for like 15 more years, so he's had 15 extra years to bulk up, and he was tired of getting saved by Superman, so he wanted to be able to save himself, so he got bigger.
yeah, he said,
Yeah.
he talked about it. He still captures the essence of Jimmy. Just now he's gotten, yeah, and he's like they said, he's older now, so no, he doesn't want to be called Jimmy anymore. Only certain people can call him that. He said only the big guy and
His
I guess
mom.
Lewis can call him that, or but usually call him James. And it's kind of funny because I have a cousin, whose name is James, but we call him Jimmy all the time. So it's like, but he doesn't get mad about it. It's just that, it's just
Yeah,
I
I have an
understood
uncle
I
named I
understood
have
where
an
he was
uncle
coming
named
from with
Jimmy.
that. I understood where he was coming from. It's just that it was just kind of cool to see where he was going with it. I was just like, okay, he's still that character. He's still Jim. He's still best friends with Superman. He still had the watch and everything like that. And he had to move away, because he wanted to try to find his own niche. And I was like, I can respect that. That's something I would think Jimmy would try to do. But still, he would always at some point you would see him break out the camera and just showcase old school Jimmy Olsen. So it was
Yep,
fun.
and at least he didn't have a random twin brother this time.
Yeah, Jesus.
But yeah, like it was cool.
Hmm.
I like Jimmy, and I'm still gonna call him Jimmy because that's just a habit. Like
Yeah.
I tried to stick to calling him James, but I ended up just calling him Jimmy. So it's whatever. Like very much like with Damn It Major, there was a lot of Damn It Jimmy going on for me.
Oh, yeah. But
Um, but yeah, Brian, what did you think of Jimmy?
it, um, I've read like several Superman comics growing up. I even picked up a couple of the when they tried to reboot the Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen in the
Oh, I remember
90s.
those.
I picked up a couple of those, and I grew up on the 90s Bruce Kent universe.
Yeah.
So I'm used to the scrawny ginger Jimmy. So it took a while for me to get used to it, and he did warm up to me, and I can see it took him a while, but he like has like essence of Jimmy, especially in the later episodes. He grew into the role, and I will say he is a thousand times better than Agent Jimmy Olsen from Batman Superman
Wait,
to get me started.
let's not get into that. Let's not
Yeah,
we decided not to do a video on that
all
for a
right,
reason.
Yeah,
but
we're not going
anyway,
there, please.
I'm sorry that part in particular is a sore note for me. But I will admit that he grew into Jimmy, and it's also his relationship with with Kara. It it grew like him. My likeness of their romance grew.
It did, but at the same time, I was really frustrated.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
oh man.
yes.
But
But I do. I don't know if this is the place to talk about it or not, but I do like the fact that Kira made the first move. Or I'm
yeah.
so confused.
Wait, did you say Kira? Are you pulling a cat, Grant?
Yep.
It was a slip of the tongue.
It's all good. I'm just messing with you. So yeah. It seems like we all pretty much got used to Jimmy and ended up really liking him. And from the comments, Alana says Jimmy was cool. So yeah, it seems like
Hmm.
so far like the audience has a good vibe towards Jimmy.
Um, do we have a special section for fan theories, or can I just say something real
We're,
quick?
we're, we're gonna do theories for the next season at the end,
All right,
towards the
because
end.
I have a theory about him.
All right. So next up, we can talk about the other member of Team Supergirl, the Cisco of Team Supergirl, um, former Broadway star, Rent star, Jeremy Jordan. He was Winslow Shot Jr., aka Win. So I went first last time. So Chris, what do you think will win?
Uh, Lynn to me was the in opinion wise, he was kind of your typical, you know, guy to go to, your go to guy for all secrets. You know, I mean, Jimmy knew, figured it out easily, but she kind of went to win for, the fact of Supergirl and things like that. Now, but he was also similar to like all the other average guy, get a crush on the main protagonist, but when you do kind of acknowledge it to her, she kind of blows you off and is like, I
Oh,
like you as a
that.
friend. So
And
he was kind of
we've all
he
been
was
there.
yeah, he was kind of like your typical the typical go-to guy, and then he's almost like, yeah, he's kind of hurt from it, and you don't know if he wants to be around this person, but then realizes that I am a good friend, and so I really didn't mind Win too much. I was just like, but when they announced that, yeah, he is Toyman's son, I was just like, okay, this brings a little bit more twist to his character, um, being
Mm-hmm.
that if you remember, once again, going back to the Superman animated series, the Toyman there was the son of the kind of was Win, basically,
Yeah, because he was the son of the original Toyman. Yeah.
yeah. So, but it was fine. I didn't mind too much of Win. When he started acting a little bit like, you supposed to love me too. I was just like, man, get out of here, man. Like, it's just accept the fact that she wants you in her life. Like you kind of butthurt over it. I get it. I mean, but it was just like, yeah, he went up too much doing it, and then there was times like even when he started uh trying to, I guess, wean Savant to like the good side, and I was like, dude, like don't even try with her. Like I'm like
Yeah.
this. I was like, stop trying. Like she's not coming. But it was fine. I was cool with it. He was all right. I didn't care. I wouldn't say I love the character, but I was just like, if he died, I would have been like, oh, but I would have been like, he's dead, whatever. But he was okay.
Yeah, I liked Win, but I agree. Like he was a bit whiny when he was like, Kara should love me type of thing. I mean, even though we've all been there, but like at the same time, Win needed to get over it a little bit faster. And also, I don't know if I was the only one that noticed this, but like I also was kind of annoyed when Win was like just all smug and rubbing it in Jimmy's face, like, oh, I see. Kara's liking that new guy over there. How's it feel, huh?
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
that?
it was another thing too. Like he would, if it wasn't Jimmy, he was like, why are you always around him and everything like that? Feeling it was the other thing, yeah, like yeah, how you feel? How does it feel? How does it feel? I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
like come on.
Win was a bit petty with that one. I mean, I liked a lot of his performances, and we'll talk about the Toyman episode when we get to like the favorite episode section because that's definitely one of mine. But yeah, I mean, he got better, like just like everybody else, he got better. But he's not my favorite character. All right, Brian, what did you think of Win?
Well, I always have a softness for like geeky characters. Like Jay can tell you, I always kind of like the geeky characters. I don't know if it's like personification or what, but I always like the kind of geeky comedy reliefs. And like Xander's one of my favorite characters from Buffy. But
Xander's
anyway,
hilarious.
but anyway, thing
Yeah,
with thing with Win. for me was I really liked him in the beginning, but then when they started like really emphasizing his crush on Kira, kind of went down for me. But then when he disappeared for like an episode or two and then came back, he was really firing on all cylinders for me. I know Chris just talked about it, but I liked that he tried with Siobhan and that he was with her for a while. And I liked their interaction, but I also really liked how he actually started to work with the DEO for a bit. And they
Yep.
started to use him and his expertise, and it
Oh
was
man, and
really
also
cool.
I gotta say, I loved when Kara revealed her secret to Win, and like I loved Win's little lesbian joke because he was like, "Oh my God, you're gay! It makes sense now. Thank God."
Yeah, yeah,
And
and
then
also
and then she jumps off the roof. That was great. I loved that.
yeah, and also I like we can talk about this more later, but I also like how he just like insta became friends with Barry. It was like they were best friends.
Oh, we're definitely spending a good amount of time on that crossover because man. Um, all right, so next character we can go on to let's see. Did Win? We did Jimmy. We did. Let's go ahead and talk about. Uh, let's go ahead and talk about my future wife, Jenna Devon Tatum. They will do. They will get divorced eventually. They'll get divorced eventually, and I'll be right there. Just, I'm just saying.
Future wife.
Hollywood marriages don't last that long.
Well, sometimes they do when there's a kid involved.
We'll see. We'll see. Don't crush my dreams,
But
Ryan.
do you seriously want Channing Tatum as the angry ex-husband?
Go, Channing Tatum. You know what? He can go step up somewhere else.
Eh,
Anyway, anyway, we're talking about Lucy Lane. For those of you guys who don't know, um, yeah, I liked her. I mean, at first she came off a little bit annoying, but
yeah.
when she started actually playing up her military role and really kind of showing how strong of a character she was and how she wouldn't take Jimmy's shit. I respected that. Like I liked that she wasn't just the oblivious girlfriend. She saw what was happening and she knew what was going on. She's like, look, I'm not going to be treated like somebody's second fiddle. So you either make a choice or I'm out. And she was out. But at the same time, she wasn't that bitchy. She wasn't that bitchy ex-girlfriend towards Jimmy. She still really cared about him and treated him like a friend. And when Tara revealed herself to her, she actually bonded with her very well, and they ended up working really good together when she became director of the DEO. And now it looks like she's going to be a full-time member of the DEO, and I think maybe co-director with Hank, who we're going to talk about next, but that's for later. So, Brian, what did you think about Lucy?
Wow, Lucy. Surprisingly enough, with my experience with the Superman family and all, I never really had much experience with her, Lucy, the character. But on the show,
She wasn't really heavily introduced until like the early 2000s with Sterling Gates stuff. So,
then that explains it. But anyway, um, with her on the show though, it was kind of like James, but more so with the fact that I liked her, but it took a while for me to really like her and for me to really get into her. But yeah, when they started doing like the military stuff, well, first when they started with the military stuff with like Red Tornado and all, I thought she was being a little bitchy, but then once they started to like really get into her and she joined the DEO and all, I was really getting into her as a character, and I like that she's gonna stay with the DEO because that was one thing that I didn't like about the character. It was like, where the hell is she gonna end up? Because
yeah, they didn't give. Yeah, that was my big problem with her in the beginning was they didn't give her anything to do. until they really started to figure out that, oh yeah, she's a military girl. She has clout as a major. She's a major in the Air Force. She can she has clearance on certain things, and they can actually use her for that. Like, so
She was
again, like
jobless.
they improved.
Yeah, but they like flipped her around everywhere. She she was with the military, then she was jobless for a while, then she became Cat's lawyer, then she went back to the military, then she did the deed.
Also, that didn't really make any sense to me. How can you just quit the military and come back like that? Like
Can't do
that didn't
that.
make any sense.
It
Yeah,
was
Can't do that.
exactly.
it was extenuating circumstances where they brought her back because she was someone that knew the Superman family.
But you're not supposed to be able to do that when you
I know,
leave, and then you can't come back. But I
I
guess
know.
being the fact that she's a general's daughter, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, she can come back.
Oh, we'll also talk about General Douche
I,
soon. But
uh, anyway, with when they announced that Lucy Lang was coming, I was just like, okay, they don't put too much emphasis on her in terms of live action. You don't never really get to see her too much. It's always Lois, 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 Lois.
except for when she tried to fuck Clark on Smallville.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay,
Almost
yeah.
made me do a spit take there.
But she comes on, and I was like, wow, she looks a little bit like Mila. I was like, she looks a little bit like Mila Kunis. I'm like, yeah, she kind of do. And I'm like, she any relation to her? And but I didn't mind her too much. I thought what I didn't like about was the scenes where she's like she started getting all like trying to justify the lies and stuff, and I'm like, chick, man, go put your tits somewhere else with that stuff. I'm like, give me a break. Like, she's like, yeah, all your lies, and it's like, so Kara was so Kara was supposed to just come to you and tell you her secret right off the bat. That was it. Like, yeah, okay, really, like, what's the rule of a superhero? Never reveal your secret identity. Keep the ones you love on an angel.
Unless you're Barry Allen, because
Yeah,
apparently it's
unless you're
okay.
Barry Allen, and then it's just like, when she started doing that stuff, I'm like, man, Kara, I was like, almost put my, I'm like, Lucy, man, suck my, you know what, man. I'm like, come on, like with that nonsense. But when she came into the role as the DEO, I was liking her because I'm like, okay, she's cool. But then I was like, why was I getting a damn Maria Hill vibe to her? I'm like, but in a good way.
Man, I was gonna say she's definitely not on Hill bitch level.
Yeah.
Nope.
But when she started to realize that, what, maybe she was wrong, because I liked how she, especially like one of my favorite scenes of her is actually from the finale, is where she stood up to her father. It was like when she was like, yeah, when she was defending John, like he helped us, and and her puss ass father, like, yeah, he's a he's a he's a threat to national security. It's like, oh, national security don't got anything to do with it right now. Like, she's like, yeah, now you understand. I like how she was just like, now you understand why Lois, you pushed away Lois now. I'm like, ooh. I was like, yeah. I was like, come back for now. Come back with that. Yeah, you see her? You see her? She went on you, old man. And I was loving that.
Oh man, that was such a good moment.
I was like, it was a good moment. I was like, yeah. But I did like the fact that she could see that Jimmy liked Kara and things like that, and she could see it, and it's kind of because we saw like she left. It was always that it was the thing about it with the whole relationship between her and Jimmy was it was like that he said she said moment, like, okay, who's telling the truth? Why did they break up? And we got both sides of the story even still, but it still was just to the point. It was good to see her there, but then when she got thrown, she was like getting jumbled everywhere. It was like, where is she going? Okay, she's here now. She's working here, and then now she's back here. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, and it was almost like, what's your first? She seemed to be all jealous of Supergirl. I'm like, man,
Hmm.
I'm like, what are you jealous of her right now for? Like, and it was almost like it was, and it wasn't even. It was instantly she was jealous of her. Like soon as she came on, she had like this, like shooting daggers at her. I'm like, what's your problem? Like, but other than that, Lucy was fine. I didn't mind. I liked her, especially where her character went. And I'm kind of
Yep.
glad it went to where it went instead of where I thought it was gonna go. I thought
I feel like that's gonna be a pattern. We're gonna say that a lot with a lot of these characters.
I,
Um,
I thought that they were gonna pull off the whole Superwoman thing right off the bat.
oh yeah, where she plays a spy for the military and wears the Superwoman armor.
Yeah,
I'll talk about I want to talk about that later when we get into theories because I definitely have something on that. But
Yeah.
yeah. So moving on, we can talk. Let's actually since we talk about Lucy, let's go ahead and talk about General Douche. Let's go ahead and
I
talk
got
about
I
General
got
Douche.
nothing to say.
Oh.
All I'll say
Like,
is the actor who plays him always plays douchebag characters like that.
Yeah, I
yep.
will. I will say one thing about him. Um,
Uh huh.
just as I was starting to like him, like in the finale, just as I was starting to like him, and he was starting to mend things with Lucy, because they were all about to die, then he goes and does the douchey thing with Maxwell Lord.
I mean, that's just Lane for you, man. Like Lane's
I
always in like
know,
that.
I know,
No,
I know.
no, but that's no excuse for him. I'm just saying that is what it is. That's who Lane is.
He's an
Fuck him.
asshole.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, let's check the comments really quick before we head into the next character. So let's see. Um, Alana says she hated Win. Huh.
Hmm.
So Chris isn't alone there where he didn't. Chris isn't the only one who didn't like Win at first.
I didn't say I hated him. She said she hated him.
I know.
Yeah,
And Alana says asshole. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody can agree Lane was an asshole. Um,
Yes, yes, he was.
all right, so moving on from asshole to bitch, let's go ahead and talk about Cary Grant. Yeah, like that segue. I feel like that worked. Anyway, so Ally McBeal.
aka
Ally McBeal.
Wow.
Ally McBeal, aka I think she's still dating Harrison Ford. I think they're
They're
still
married,
together.
I
Yeah,
think.
them.
Yeah,
Harrison
that's why
Ford.
they kept making the Harrison Ford jokes in the show. Yeah,
And
but
I love the finale where she's like, tell Harrison Ford no, he's still married.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
And that's funny. Um, but yeah, I this is a character that I just did not like for a long time. Like it took like a
Mhm.
whole half of the season for me to actually like her. And then when she found out like Kara's secret, I was like, okay, this could be interesting. And then they did the whole cop out, fake out thing that I thought they were gonna do, but I was hoping they wouldn't
Yeah.
do. And that was a big downer for me.
Yeah.
But eventually, when she started actually just giving advice to Kara and honestly being Supergirl's biggest fan, is when I really started to like her, and she really helped build up, Kara's confidence both as Kara and as Supergirl, and she also helped build up, Kara's image and helped build it back up also. And she just was really interesting to fill that mother figure role, but that kind of more of a tough love than your traditional nurturing, caring type of love. And Kara really helped crack that Ice Queen shell and melt that heart just a little bit.
I think it was.
So, yeah, go ahead,
I
Chris.
think
I was gonna go to you anyway.
I think more of it came from definitely when we got to see that she had a heart, especially when their
Mhm.
son came into
Mhm.
the sons. That's when I really was like, okay, yeah, this woman does have a heart. I mean, Ally McBeal, I remember, from shows like uh, Ally McBeal. I think that was the name of her show. Uh,
Yep.
and I was just like, okay, this is a different Cat Grant that we got before, where she was very spunky, enthusiastic about everything. And this one, she's supposed to be like, yeah, like the actress that Meryl Streep played from The Devil Wears Prada. That's
Yep.
all I saw. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah,
pretty
that,
much. That's what I saw too. And
Yep.
Kara was the Anne Hathaway
yeah.
to Siobhan's Emily Blunt.
And I'm just like, okay, and at first, yeah, always shoving that feminism in the face, like, yeah, blah blah blah, and and especially the whole thing, I created you, and I'm like, girl, you didn't create Jack, you didn't create nothing. Like, I'm trying to refrain from cursing here, guys. So I'm just, she's just like, you didn't. I was just really like, stop saying that you created her. It's like you didn't do that. You it's like I mean, sure, you may have came up with the name, but you didn't create Kara. She was always that character.
I'm just glad she wasn't a Jonah though. Like I'm glad she wasn't a Jonah.
Yeah, like that. But the fact is, like, I thought she served her purpose of what she was supposed to be, and I think the show did a good job of segueing her from episode to episode. It was like, yeah, see, she has a heart, and you see, like, you just gotta really peel back. She's like an onion. She's got layers. She's
Hmm.
you keep pulling back those layers, and you'll see them. And but I'm not gonna laugh when Kara was Kara was hooked up on the red kryptonite and threw her out that window. I laughed my ass off at that. I was like,
I was weak. I was weak. I was like, you deserve that. I'm
I was
like,
like, yeah,
Hmm.
you get it, like, I was like, once again, I was like, you see that?
okay,
Uh,
at least I wasn't
And
the only one to laugh. Now I don't feel like a terrible person for kind
and
of
then
laughing at
she
that person's imminent death.
and then she tried to save face afterwards. Like I've been through a lot worse.
yeah,
Oh
but
man.
I was just more like, okay, she is what she is. Always, Kara, go get me this, and Kara, get me that. I was just like, now she treats Kara almost like Cinderella. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like she couldn't do anything for herself. I'm like, can you even pick up a pencil by yourself without Kara come pick this up for me? I was just,
She can pick up a BlackBerry. We see that.
yeah, she'll pop pop pop
Hmm.
pop that all the time, and tell this or tell that, or yeah, tell Kim she may have a big butt, but it's something else. I mean, she said something about Kim Kardashian. I was just like, whatever. And all the pop culture references she
Yeah.
kept throwing at everybody, or just
Yeah,
throwing at.
that was annoying. I
It
didn't
was,
like her like
to me, it got a little annoying because it's like, okay, you keep throwing these harsh remarks at these people, but what, are you jealous of them? And this is coming from somebody who is supposedly, I don't get jealous, but you sure like to throw marks at them, and even when she was on,
she was taking real shots at Anderson Cooper. Like
yeah, she took shots in when she was on the Talk, when they had the real ladies from the Talk on there, she was taking shots at them, like really, damn, like, what is your problem, like? So
Yeah.
when she started to mellow out, I was liking it, and you know, and especially I will say I did like the scene with in the crossover with her. I thought that was funny. And I did like whenever her and the Lex Luthor of the show were together, Maxwell Lord.
yep,
I like
yep.
that because
Yeah.
she really would almost like she could put Maxwell in his place without him kind of coming
Yep.
back with a douchey remark. I was just like, yeah,
Hmm.
I was liking that. But Alec
All
McBeal
right,
was fine.
so Brian, what did you think of Cat Grant?
Well, I grew up on Ally McBeal, so I know about her, and I know, and I even saw like the tabloids, like when she was at her worst, like because she's like had stuff. But anyway, the character, Cat, her playing Cat, it took a really long time for me to grow on her. I thought she was, well, first I didn't like her, then I thought she was kind of like the bitchy frenemy type character. But it was once like Kara started breaking the shell, like bringing in the sun, who, by the way, not only Melissa Benoist's real life husband, but also another person from Glee.
Hey, I'm always wondered, is he a Jenner, like one of those Jenners, or is he just a separate Jenner?
I
I meant
believe
to
he,
ask this before.
I believe he's just a separate Jenner.
Okay,
He
okay,
got
I
his
didn't.
he got his start on the Glee project.
Okay, so I didn't know if he was like one of Bruce's kids or Caitlyn, I guess, whatever. But I always confused him with them.
I think I think he's just a separate one, kind of like how Adam Baldwin from Firefly isn't really a Baldwin brother.
Yeah.
No, he just got yeah. He's not a Baldwin. He's a
Yeah,
Baldwin.
but the thing with Kat is, yeah, that helped crack it, and then the stuff with, I think her name was Leslie, Livewire.
Yeah, well,
That
Yeah,
really
Leslie.
that really helped with cracking her shell. But once they started to crack her shell and really delve into her and show some of her past, and minus that Perry White comment from that one episode, when they revealed that she actually did work for the Daily Planet like she did in the comics, just like Jimmy, she's moved on. And once they like delved into her more, I started to like her more, and they've gotten to a place now where she is a motherly figure for Kara. And also, one other thing that I liked about her throughout the whole entire thing, bitchy or not, she always gave Supergirl the she like always believed in her. Like she was the first to say she was the first to believe that Bizarro was an imposter. She knew that when the red kryptonite happened, something was happening to her, that she wasn't acting like herself. She she was always the first to believe in Supergirl
That's what I was saying earlier. It's like she's definitely Supergirl's biggest fan.
and always believe that Supergirl isn't a menace and isn't doing this, but something's affecting her, which we as the audience know is true.
Hmm. Um, let's see. Okay, so we talked about Kat, and Chris actually brought him up, so we're gonna go ahead and transition into, like Chris said, the Lex Luthor of the show, Maxwell Lord. I you know I like Maxwell. He's a really interesting character. I mean, you know, obviously like his motivation is a little one dimensional. We've seen it before 1,000 times. I don't trust aliens, so I'm gonna do whatever it takes to kill aliens or whatever because I'm all about humanity and stuff. I don't care who gets in my way. Very Lex Luthor, and but he has this interesting sleazy charm about him. I don't know how to describe it, but like he's very charismatic. I liked his chemistry with the characters, and I like that he just didn't give a fuck. Like that was one of the parts of his character that I respected. Like he didn't care who he offended, and like at the same time he knew it was wrong, but he didn't care because that's just who he is. And like you know what, I like it. I would like it better if somebody at least says it to someone's face instead of just saying it behind someone's back. Like that. That's just my personal opinion. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna talk shit to someone's face. And Maxwell was not afraid of that, so that was cool. And I liked his relationship with Alex very much too, because you could actually see that he does care for her somewhat, despite his feelings towards her sister. But yeah, and I liked how he did. I liked that he actually, did took some effort to discover, the secret of the Danvers sisters and all that stuff. He's still a dick, but he's at least someone interesting to watch as a villain, someone you love to hate. So, Chris, what do you think of Maxwell Lord?
Typical. Like I said, he definitely had that Lex Luthor vibe. The actor who played him, I'm a, I've seen a lot of his work, before.
Fun fact: he was the father in Twilight.
I'm not even going with that one. I'm
I
going
didn't
with
even,
I
I did
know.
not know that. Didn't
I'm
even.
going with I'm going with what I first saw him on, and that was a show called he was on a cop show with Bill Bellamy called Fastlane, something like that. Yeah, it didn't last too long because the episodes were so expensive to make. But yeah, he was fine. It was just like when I heard they were bringing in Maxwell Lord, I'm like, okay, Maxwell Lord, this is the same guy that killed Ted Cord, shot him right in the head. And I'm like, all right, and this is the guy who got his neck snapped
On national
by
television.
Diana, and then came back to life and everything like that. And so I was like, okay. But once I started seeing them, I wasn't really liking them too much because I'm just like, see, now this is Kara's Lex Luthor, and I was like, I don't like this. I was like, I don't like this. I mean, you don't need to. If that's the case, then y'all should have just brought in Lex Luthor, right? Then if that was the case, but instead y'all have Maxwell Lord, and he's this typical guy, the cliche. I don't like aliens, and he was doing everything he could to make give a bad image to Kara, blah blah blah, and everything like that. And other times I just wanted Kara to just not even punch him, just flick him one time, go blink, and
Snapped his neck.
like plow, just one time, give him a migraine or something. And with him and Alex, I was praying. I was like, don't go this stupid route where I think Alex gonna feel something for him, and they got don't do
Oh,
that.
thank God they didn't. I was glad that he didn't.
Uh,
But I did like that. It showed that he does. He is more human than he pretends to be.
Yeah, and they started going on that route of like there is something to his quote unquote his madness, like why he does the things he does, and it still was just like when I listened to him talk, I was like, but it still doesn't justify why you are screwing with Kara, why are you screwing with her, like she's just trying to help, she's just using her abilities to help, like Superman, like her cousin, blah blah blah, and you're just coming off as a stereotypical bitch. It's like a dude you just
Mhm.
wanted to punch. And there were times there was many episodes I literally was just like almost to the verge of punching my TV because I was just like, yeah, I want to punch this dude. Like, and especially when he was with Jimmy, I was like, Jimmy, you better fuck him up. See, I cursed. Damn it. It was like, Jimmy, fuck him up one time. And then, you just saw like, oh, yeah, you got to hold Jimmy back. I'm like, yeah, that punk ass. You know? But yeah, he did it. But you know what? I can't deny it because the way I'm talking about him, he got the rise out of me that probably
Yep,
the
he did.
fans,
Yeah,
writers
he
would
did
want him
his
to.
villain's job. He did
Yeah,
the
so he
villain's
did his
job.
job. So
Yeah.
I can't really say too much, no real harbor bad things about him. But yeah, he was a douche. He really was.
Yeah, like I said, he's a character you'd love to hate. So, Brian, thoughts on Maxwell Lord?
Well, at first, yes, my mind did go to the fact that that they wanted Lex Luthor but couldn't use him because of the embargo. And
We're gonna get to that in a second, for
but
sure.
they couldn't use him because of the like movie embargo thing. But and yeah, he was basically Lex for most of it. And I didn't mind it because I like the actor, and despite his role that I previously mentioned, I like the actor, and I think he was doing a really good job with what he was given. I just didn't always like what he was given, and towards the end, when he became like a frenemy to Team Supergirl, I I was starting to really like him and starting to really get into him. But like General Douche, at the last minute, they got to give me a stinger to be like, oh hell.
You know who he actually reminded me of more than Lex Luthor? He reminded me more of like an evil Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Basically, an evil Tony Stark. That's like superior Iron Man Tony Stark. That's what he reminded me of. Um, yeah. So Maxwell Lord, I'm gonna wait for Chris to come back. I know Chris has a lot to say about this next one. Because of course we had to save this one for last when we're talking about characters.
Well, we still got two other ones, the sisters.
Oh yeah, Alex. Oh yeah, Alex and yeah. Let's put these two together since they had a lot of their scenes were kind of intertwined. I'm saving villains for a separate section, so we're not talking about Astro or whatever yet. But let's talk about Alex and Jean or Hank Henshaw and stuff. Um, man,
Sisters I was talking about was the Danvers sisters.
yeah, man, I was surprised as hell with the
With John?
the Jean thing, because like I know
Yeah.
everybody else called it, but I was stuck in my whole cyborg Superman, the red eyes
Dude,
cyborg.
dude, you and me both. Both me and Jay were both, like, even up to the episode where they revealed that he was Jean, everyone was like, he's Jean. And we're like, no,
Everybody was like calling it. Both me and Brian were like, holy shit, he's actually Martian Manhunter.
yeah, because
I didn't think they had the balls to do it. Like that's my whole thing.
we were still thinking that he was, well, we were both still thinking that he was Cyborg Superman. Um, Jay mostly because the comics hate Henshaw, I think. But me, it was partly because of the comics ain't Henshaw. But also in my mind, I thought, this is the Berlanti this is the Berlanti team. They're known to give a dark twist every once in a while. So I was like, yeah, that would
And,
be
and also, I didn't expect them to go full on. Like I thought Martian Manhunter would be too expensive for them to handle because it's
yeah, me too.
so like that was another big reason why I didn't think he was Jean. But Chris from the jump was like he's probably going to be Martian Manhunter. But yeah, I was like, oh damn! They even mentioned Chacos. Alex was feeding him Chacos in the cell. I was like, oh that's cool. They even mentioned his addiction to Chacos. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and they did explain how they were able to keep him with the budget, with the fact that he's hiding as Hank.
And fun fact about that is, during the first week of shooting, they didn't actually know what they were going to do with Hank Henshaw at first. And then Jeff Johns was on set, and he was like, "Hey, this dude, David Harewood, he was like, this guy has kind of weird ears. He kind of looks a little alienish. Like, what do you guys think about making him like Martian Manhunter or something?"
Yeah, because I was telling Jay about this. I was looking on the internet one day, and because I was researching the guy who plays him, David whatever, and
Yeah, David Harewood.
David Haywood, and apparently he is a Shakespearean actor. Like, he is damn good.
Yeah,
And,
you could tell by his voice and like the presence of his voice.
and he's British, and he's been like in all the British shows except for Doctor Who. Which, by the way, just quick side note, he was actually one of the people that you could vote on Vegas to who was going to become the 12th Doctor. He was one of the contendants.
Huh.
But yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I totally blanked on what I was going to say for a second there. Sorry.
That's cool.
What I was going to say is when I was researching him, he actually said in like a red carpet interview that he was looking forward to playing Cyborg Superman.
Yeah, so again, that was before, but that was before the show had aired, and they hadn't really figured out what they were gonna do with him, and he had read the comics, so he had assumed that he was gonna be playing Cyborg Superman.
I think personally, the red eyes is what gave it away for me. Like, I was just like, Cyborg Superman don't have red eyes. I was like, yeah. At first, I'm like, yeah, it does, but I was like, okay, they're going Hank Henshaw. That's Cyborg Superman. I was like, okay. And then,
but the red eyes thing, I was thinking more like this would be more of like a Terminator spin. That's why he had the red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But then suddenly, a lot of it started to come together. I started deducting, like, especially when with the bomb, I was just like, man, he's phasing through that bomb. That's what he's doing. It was like, and he came out and was holding it. I'm like, okay. And then when he revealed himself to Alex, I was like, whoa. I was like, that's pretty good effects because they had him like one more year later, John Jones, the way he looked a year in the comics when the DC was doing the whole 1 year after.
Oh yeah, during that time right before 52.
Yeah, like he had the black suit and he kind of went back to his oval shaped head instead of looking more human like. And when he came on and he grew and my name is John Jones, I was like, I knew it. I was like, figured it out. But I was still hyped up. I was like, oh wow, it's cool. And you couldn't see him do it all the time. But the thing was, in this series, they made Jean seem like he's not fully in control of his telepathy because it was like he had hard times doing some things. Like he couldn't just erase one part of your memory. Like it just like when he erased that guy's memory, he
Yeah.
erased too much of it. I was just like, wow, they really are.
But also from a writing perspective, I mean, I understood that because if he was the way he is in the comics, then why wouldn't he fix every problem on the show? Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I get. Yeah, I was going to say that. I get it, but then it was just like, yeah, you could see that they kind of depowered him a little bit,
Well,
you know. But
they also kind of explain that in the fact that he's he's been keeping as Hank, like he's been staying as Hank. So
yeah,
he hasn't
but
been using it.
So he's rusty. Yeah, that did make
his
sense.
yeah, he shapeshifts. Okay, but him being revealed as I was fine, but I was just always like, why is he such a douche at times, and with Alex, Alex, she came off to me as that big sister, like, but is very protective. You saw her; she kept a lot from Kara until finally she
Mhm.
saw that she's this special agent, and for this group that doesn't really exist. Like I said, it felt very Shield like. I'm like, yeah, like Alex kind of looks like Widow if I mean, in some sense, and
She even did the whole leg grab thing that
yeah,
Widow
she
did
did.
in the
I'm like,
Avengers.
yeah, she was like, okay, she reminds you of Black Widow and everything like that, and but I liked Alex. Alex probably was one of my favorite supporting characters on the show. I loved
Yeah,
her.
definitely. I
She
Yeah,
agree with that
she
one.
was always good. It's just like anytime she was there, I was happy to see her. Like, yeah, it's good to see Alex. And when Hank, came around and Alex would constantly push him to use his Martian powers, and then just
She
like,
would she was forcing him so much. It was just
yeah,
like
I was like, Alex,
do it.
I was like, stop it, like, calm down. Like, maybe there's a reason why he's not using it so much, and you know,
That's what I was saying in that episode too. I was like, leave the man alone.
like, stop. And then when we got to see a little bit of what was going on Mars and with the white Martians, I was like, man, this is pretty big and epic for a TV show with that effects they were using. I'm like, whoa, like that was pretty damn good. And
Yep.
which is, I was like,
You
that
know,
was really,
If Berlanti's proven one thing, he knows when to save a budget for big CGI stuff. We got Katie
yeah,
Frank
that's what
Flash.
that was. I would definitely agree with that because him being John and the effects they used for him, I was impressed. I'm like, okay, and
hmm
but I also loved that they kept his weakness, the fire. I was like, yeah, like I was like, don't get rid of that because I always thought that was an interesting weakness for a Martian. Like fire is like very like they get weak and or just him because but John Mr. Haywood because I really wasn't too fond of him as just being Hank Henshaw. I'm like, what more are they going to really do with him being just a quote unquote a stereotypical watered down Nick Fury? That's kind of what I saw from at first. I'm like, why is he
Yeah,
coming off
kind
like
of.
a watered down Nick Fury? And then when they added the whole John Jones Martian Man, I was like, y'all got something with this. Like, use
Also, his
this.
Hank Henshaw voice reminded me of the Allstate guy. Like he
Yeah,
sounded a lot like the Allstate guy.
and then
Yeah.
and when we got to see what he was when the real Hank Henshaw, I was like, yeah, see, I'm glad he's gone because he was nothing but a stereotypical. Yeah,
He was a
if they
bigger
don't,
douche than General Douche.
Yeah.
yeah, it was like if they ain't human, kill him. It's like kill it. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So I talked a little bit about John before, so I'm just gonna talk about Alex. I loved her. She was like I agree with Chris. She was my favorite supporting character. And as much as I liked the special agent stuff, honestly, the stuff I loved the most and the stuff that got me emotional, because I got emotional quite a few times with this show, but the stuff that got me
yeah.
emotional was all the Kara Alex stuff. Like from TV time to helping Kara get ready for her date to convincing Kara to get out there, and being proud of Kara and being the one to really push her, saying, "You can do this. I believe in you. I love you. No matter what anyone thinks, I'll always be there for you." And as a sibling who wants to encourage that for his younger siblings, I definitely could relate to Alex and the protectiveness. I totally get, and I can understand why she wanted to hide that from Kara at first. And she just was really cool. She had the most layers to her. But unlike Kat, where her layers were like just like Alex was a lot more interesting, and I got definitely more invested in her character than pretty much everybody else besides Kara. Um, so yeah, now before we talk about
Um.
the main star. Oh, Brian, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. I hadn't talked about Alex.
Oh, I thought. Oh, yeah, I forgot because we were talking about her
Yeah.
before Chris showed up. I forgot that you hadn't got to do your own soul thing. My bad. Go ahead.
It's okay. But yeah, of course I like John and his inner. I don't really have anything else to add about John, except for I do like the fact that they did go with the fact that John had two daughters, and now he has two daughters again, basically, which was really cool thing that he
Hmm.
treats the Danvers sisters like his daughters. That was really cool. But Alex, yeah, like the guys have been saying, she's basically my second favorite character overall in the whole show. Of course, we probably can guess who number one is, but yeah, I did like her, but it took a while for me to really like her, for her to grow, and for her to have her own layers and her unique stuff outside of Kara. Like
Oh yeah.
when
Also, really quick, to interrupt you real quick. Can I just my favorite one of my I think my favorite thing with Kara and Alex is TV time with the Danvers sisters. I mean, they
oh
have like the
yeah,
best taste in TV, man.
yeah,
I would totally just chill at their apartment and go through their DVR because they watch literally everything that I watch.
yeah, and they do it while like eating, and they address the fact that Kara like has a Kryptonian like
Yeah,
body and
metabolism.
everything.
It's very much like
Metabolism.
Barry.
I was brain farting on that word, metabolism. But yeah, that was another thing that Kara and Barry could connect with. But yeah, I liked how they gave Alex her own stuff too, like the fact that Astra was about to kill Jean, and so she took out the saber. And
Which was really cool.
yeah,
That was awesome. A kryptonite katana. That was probably one of the
yeah,
coolest
and
things I've seen.
yeah, and then they used it again in the finale and the episode before the finale where she had the whole kryptonite suit. But we can talk about more about this later. But I think her crowning moment was when Kara saved the world, and then she saved Kara.
I didn't like that moment at all.
Uh, I did.
Personally, with me, my favorite moment with Alex was when she finally connected with her mother,
Yeah,
and
Oh yeah,
her mom actually said, "Alex, I don't know what you're talking about. I never favored Kara over you. It's just that Kara needed more help than you. You were always strong. You were always the one I could count on. But Kara needed more help because she was so new. I've always, loved you. You're my baby girl. I've always loved you, and I'll always be proud of you. And
Was
the fact that you're looking out for Kara like this makes me, even happier.
Yeah, and I like how they went into Alex's history and the fact that she did become a delinquent and that Hank kind of saved her.
Yeah, it was kind of good, but it wasn't that I didn't like that moment. It's just that moment should have been served with somebody else instead
Yep.
of Alex. And
So
I'll get into that.
that's actually a good segue. So I'll let you start this one off, Chris, because I know you got the most to say about it.
All right,
So let's go ahead and talk about Big Blue, or should I
all
say
right,
the
yeah.
lack thereof.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I really don't need to talk about Miss B on this because I thought she nailed that character so
Yeah.
well. But
Oh, yeah. Favorite character.
no,
Yeah, pretty much. We don't need to.
look,
We don't need to spend the time on Kara because I feel like we've talked about her enough, talking about other characters.
I just want to say one thing about her, sorry, before we
Go
continue,
ahead, Brian.
is all these characters, even the ones I liked, like Alex, they took me a while to get and to really like. But Melissa as Tara, instantly liked her from the pilot.
Hmm. For sure. All right, Chris, I'll let you go ahead and take the reins on this one.
all right,
Superman,
no
ever
offense,
absent superhero.
no, uh, no disrespect to the creative team on the show, but I've said this in plenty times in my thoughts on the show in every episode is like, you acknowledge that Kal-El is on this world, and you acknowledge that he is here, and some of the best moments that nearly kind of, I remember the first time they did it, nearly,
Yeah,
I teared up a little bit because I'm like, that's something that I think he would do is like him chatting with Kara and like telling him, yeah, I'm very proud of you and everything like that. It's fine, that's cool, but eventually, it's like enough of that. We want to see this guy in person. Like, I want to see these two embrace each other and hug each other, as family. Like, yeah, you're here, and I thought the lack of that was kind of like, really, like, I don't get it. Why? You've already acknowledged that he's here. He's on this world. Even when they showcased him taking Kara out of the pay, you don't see him. You don't see the guy. You just see a silhouette.
And also, they acknowledge even in the crossover and in the Flash that there is a multiverse. So
Yeah.
why can't they just say this world, this guy is Superman, and then in the movie world, Henry Cavill is Superman? That doesn't interfere with anything in the movies at all.
We acknowledge that. You acknowledge in one episode when they brought in a Superman villain. What was it? Forgetting his name. Yeah, Reactron. You see him there, like Kara, she's blurry, and you see it from her perspective. You see somebody there stopping him, and it's just like, okay. Then comes to about the second to third episode of the season, and Kara and Kat are looking outside, and there he is. You see Superman flying, because they said his robot said he was off-world, helping somewhere off-world. I'm like, okay, I can understand that.
Oh my God,
you see him flying, and then all of a sudden, he just goes down, and then he's controlling by Myriad. And
they nerfed him for an entire episode and gave a bullshit excuse.
And that right there, I was just like, okay, and then Non comes and says, Kal-El, he's been too long on Earth. He's basically human. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, that is the most bullshit reason. And I cursed again. And I know Alana just laughing at me because I cursed. She said it too. I curse. Yeah. The fact is that he comes in and he's controlled by Myriad, and you explain why he's able to be controlled. Because he's been longer on Earth, so he's practically human. That makes no sense whatsoever. Then when Kara frees everybody from Myriad, in the last episode, what happens? He's still knocked out from it, and all you see
All
is
you see is his feet.
his feet. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And it just easily is like, look, I understand that this is her show. I get that. But you acknowledge that this guy is here. There are times even Kara needs help. So why not go to somebody like her big cousin who can help? And it just irritated me so bad. And
Yeah,
then
I mean, they gave me and Chris joke about this all the time, but basically they gave Superman the same treatment the Marvel Cinematic Universe gave Thor.
yeah,
Like,
like he is just like, oh my god. And then even worse is like, I know people like that ending, which I did not like. I clearly said when Kara in that ending of the finale, she's lifting Fort Ross out, and as soon as she got into space, I instantly called bullshit because I'm like, she can't breathe out in space. I'm like, what in the hell does? I'm like, I was like, Kryptonians don't need to breathe. They don't need to breathe. It's like, why is?
it
And
was
then
just they basically just kind of pulled like logic from the Superman animated series. 'Cause I never
yeah, and
understood
then I'm
that
like,
Superman animated series you needed a space suit, but they don't need
yeah,
to breathe. They don't
they
even
don't
need
need
to
to
eat.
breathe. And then she's falling, and then here come Alex in her spaceship to save her, and I'm like, all right. But instantly, I said it before, and I'll say it again. That was me right in that scene. That would have been the first time, yes, okay, we're not going to use Superman, we're going to use him right here. I would have instantly had Kara fall, and she sees Big Cousin. Finally, you see her open her eyes, and who's holding her, and he just looks at her and
Because
says, I
that's
got you.
the thing. Like they could have also done that iconic cover from Infinite Crisis, but
Yeah,
in a good way, where he's holding her and she's not like she's knocked out, but he smiles at her, and she's like, and he just like, hey, cuz, miss
yeah,
me.
like, I
That
mean,
that
there
would
was
have
so
been
much.
so good.
That shit was so much they could
Yeah.
have did with that. I mean, I would have instantly had him finally get to see the actor who's playing him. Okay, bam, there you go. And she is kind of in and out of conscious, but he comes down kind of like in that classic scene. The people of National City are around, and he just says, "You saved them, cuz like you saved them. I'm very proud of you." Something like that. But instantly, they took this route of not including Kal-El into this universe. I
Because
don't I don't
it would have
understand
been
it
so cool.
because it's like the character, you already acknowledged that this character is here. It's like, so
You
what's
went
the
into the
next route to
Fortress of
go?
Solitude.
Yeah, you
Like,
acknowledge the Fortress of Solitude. You acknowledge Clark Kent. You acknowledge Lois Lane. You acknowledge everything of the Superman mythos, but you don't show the guy. You always show this bad digital image of him, digitally CGI version of the character, and it's just like instantly the team should have instantly started once they acknowledged Superman and they did that one episode where he saved Kara from Reactron. They should have instantly started looking for a person to portray Clark on the show.
Yeah.
Instantly went. I would have instantly went with the actor who played him in that fan film trailer, World's Finest, Michael McDorn. Yeah,
my
that's it.
my pick would actually be Joe Magello. What's his name, Brian? The guy from True Blood.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Jack
Uh,
Maglione.
Yeah, he was supposed to play Superman for Man of Steel, but
True Blood.
scheduling conflicts. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
certain stuff like that. I was just like, come on, like stop teasing us with this guy. He's here, like just go for it. It was just like, oh, you can't use him because he's in it. Just like I get tired of that. Like we can't use that character because he's in the movies. So
Honestly, I think they're gonna change that around because I feel like that's the biggest complaint of the season for everybody. Even fans that love the show have to admit this is BS. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's like you can't. And that's probably the biggest nitpick I have with the show is like you acknowledge Superman and then you don't show him. Like you always show Kara always talks about, okay, what does my cousin think about this? And oh, he's already acknowledged that Superman knows that John was Hank Henshaw. He knew, yeah, he literally said it. John even said, there's something about Kryptonian minds I can't deal with. I try to dig into your cousin's mind, it wouldn't work.
Superman finds it hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah, Superman finds it hilarious, and I'm just like, you see, you've already acknowledged this stuff already, so why not you go with it?
And you even acknowledge the Justice League. They mentioned Gotham and everything too.
Yeah, you acknowledge that. You acknowledge that there's some kind of league out there, and it's just like you can't just give us these. You can't just give us these carrots and expect us not to enjoy them till we want more. We want to see that, And it's just that with that scene alone, with the end of the finale, I just felt like that was a perfect opportunity that was missed for Superman to come save his cousin, because he's like, you basically it instantly could have went, you had a long day, cousin. Let me lean on me. This time.
Yeah, and then also at the very end when like everybody's celebrating or whatever, you could have Superman and Jimmy hanging out, just like, hey pal, how's it going? Been a long time. And he messes with Jimmy, and it's like, oh, you're dating my cousin, huh?
Yeah,
And,
something like that. Like he's there, he comes to her house, and that he's in the typical Clark, look, and everybody knows who he is, but this is my cousin, and and everybody's just there eating, and then when there's that big, he says, you want my help? No, I got it, I have it. And that'd have been fine, but the fact is, instead of just the whole, oh, well, you ever had a splitting headache, and they just writing down, I'm just like, yeah, okay, the first time they did it, I loved it. I was like, okay. But now it's like, okay, you acknowledged it. And once again, I go back to, yes, it's her show, but he's not going to steal or take her spotlight from her. It's just stuff like that that just really bothered me about that.
Also, just to add on to it, because can't really say it better than what Chris said, but yes, that is a big problem. And I will admit, even though I like the fact that Alex saved her, I would have liked it a lot better if Clark saved her. And to add to that, that whole scene that she's typing in the IM with Clark about that must be what a hangover feels like. That would have been even better if
you said it in person. Yeah, like they showcase Yahoo IM more than they showcase Superman. Like, who uses Yahoo anymore?
And also, two other things. One, I really thought, I was even telling Jay, my fellow theory talker, that I thought that when Myriad came, or at least when Myriad did the second coming, the Plan B, that's when we would have seen Clark.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we get a little tiny CGI thing of Clark on the ground, and we get a foot. But the thing that is so insulting about the foot is we see the foot, and then the characters walk around the foot to get to John, who is right here, and Clark is right here.
So you don't care about Superman? I mean, I understand John is a part of the cast, but you don't want to check on Superman? Like, you don't want to be like, hey, Clark?
Yeah. And also, the second thing, I know that Chris even said that she could have just gone in by herself to check the pod. But in my mind, it would have even made more sense, because they've said that she's faster and she's more like hard-headed. It would have made sense if she got there first and it was immediately going to the pod, and that was Clark who told her to be careful and not John.
Yep.
I mean, there's some things that it's just like I think that Who's the creative team? Bernanti? How do you pronounce it?
Yeah, Berlanti.
Berlanti.
Bernanti. And I'm just like, you. That's where I kind of like, like
Yeah.
you gotta kind of drop the ball with that. It's like you
Mhm.
feeding us like, okay, he's here. It's like I said, you're acknowledging that this character is in this world, but you're not going to show. And I'm hoping that sooner or later they're like, we'll start hearing like, yes, they're casting, they're looking for someone to play Superman. Because first of all, people wrote on my joint. Yeah, it'd been great to see. I like the way you thought about it. I would have did that too, and I would have had Tom Welling. I'm like, nope, right there. Yeah, you just
No,
messed it up right
nope,
there. I was like, nope.
not Tom.
I was like, no, because I instantly call people out on that. I was like, first of all, Tom Welling will never get into a costume and to play Superman. He made that perfectly clear.
Chris Reeves told him straight up. He warned Tom, and that's the whole reason he never did it. He told Tom on set, he's like, the second you put on that S, you're Superman forever. You won't be able to do anything else.
And
he's even admitted. People have come to him, Tom Welling, and said, if you do it for Supergirl, if you do it for Flash, and each time he says no. And
honestly, if they want to bring Tom Welling in, they could do with Tom Welling what they did with Dean Cain and with Chris Reeves' characters in Supergirl, and make him like a scientist who studied Kryptonians.
Yeah, or something like that.
Or they could do like Laura Vander, or they could do like Laura Vandervoot or whatever her name is, and make him like a villain.
Oh man, Laura Vandervoot.
The fact is that.
But yeah, honestly though, if they want to go for maybe if they want to go for like way older Clark, I told Jay I wouldn't mind if they went and brought back Tim Daly. Actually,
Tim Daly would be really cool.
Tim Daly now is on the.
I know, Madam Secretary.
Madam Secretary, so I think his schedule is a little too busy for that.
I know.
What about his kid? Joe? Doesn't he have Joe Daly, right? Yeah, because he voiced Superman for a little bit.
And also, he did that like live action thing with his father and all, with all the voice actors.
Yeah. That was pretty awesome. But yeah, that's probably the biggest problem that you'll hear us talk about with Supergirl is the lack of Superman. And again, hopefully they will fix that. But yeah, that was probably the biggest thing.
I think that pretty much the in terms of the guest stars, the villains, I thought they were handled pretty well.
Yeah.
Besides sometimes
honestly, for me, I think that Supergirl's villains of the week are the best villains of the week that are handled out of all the Berlanti shows, because at least each villain built up a piece of the story and had their own backstory and some kind of connection, instead of just being random thug number 1, random thug number 2.
Well, I will admit that a couple of villains, it took them a while to get named villains, which kind of irked me for a bit. And then also the fact that they resorted to smaller people. But the big thing about the other villains that we hadn't talked about yet was just the fact that they rushed Silver Banshee.
Honestly, I didn't mind Silver Banshee. I feel like that was.
I don't actually think they
honestly, Silver Banshee. I thought was
at all. I actually liked they went the original route with her with the curse. I was like, yeah.
I like that. It's just they also included her origin in the same one as Barry coming in, and that was just a very busy episode.
I feel like it made sense though, because that story was building up before the crossover even happened.
It was like they built that up.
It just so happened to fall under the crossover episode.
Yeah, they acknowledged that they've already acknowledged that Livewire and her were going to be the main villains of the World's Finest episode. And I was just
although I will call BS on how she got.
That's where I will call BS on, because
That
they
too.
you know, they acknowledge the curse of the silver band, and I'm like, okay, they acknowledge that because and later on they started saying that she was just a metahuman, and I'm just like, no, there's a curse involved in her metabolic powers, and they actually acknowledged her aunt talked about it. I was like, yeah, okay, that's pretty great. Now
Well,
once they started that, I was just like, yeah, they got it.
And
But
man,
her
that makeup
I
is
think
on point.
I
yeah, her
think I think the whole metahuman thing was not them saying that she's a metahuman, just that the characters thought she was a metahuman.
Yeah, because that's just how Barry's seen it. Because Barry's never encountered magic
yeah.
before.
But the fact is, when they acknowledge, like when the way she got it, like she just fell and she started screaming,
He was
and that
freaking drunk and fell off of a
yeah,
roof.
drunk. I was just like, yeah, all right. I was like, come on, Rolante, y'all could have did better than that. Like
Yeah,
that
that's
was
what I'm
terrible.
mainly talking about.
Other than that, when she came on and Livewire gave her a makeover and she had I was like, that is
Damn.
spot on Silver
Yeah.
Banshees compared. If you compare her live action wise, her to how they did
That
her on
Smallville
Smallville,
version.
Jesus Christ,
Oh.
it's so much better. And when she screamed, and all I saw was Silver Banshee from the Batman Superman animated movie
Yeah, the world's finest animated movie.
version.
Yep.
I was just like, all she needed was red eyes. That's all she needed, but they made her eyes white. And I thought in terms of the villains, yeah, I thought who played Livewire was good. They
I
did
know that actress.
they did go the same route of being, they did go the route of
Straight up Superman the animated series.
yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, and I'm just like, okay, I just wish she was a little bit more whiter and her hair was blue. I really wish they went that route, but
I wish she would have gotten a haircut.
when when she came on, and there's a couple of gifs of her just using her powers, and she was skipping when I was like, yeah, and now she look a little bit like Harley, but then when she's doing that with her hair, I was like, okay, and then I liked it. I was like, I hope she come back. And then when they said she was coming back in the crossover, I was like, good. But then I also looked at it from that point of view. It was like, wait a minute, is she just coming back to kind of be that version for Barry to really deal with? Because Barry does the whole, and throws the lightning, and that just recharges her. I was like, oh my god, thanks for the charge. But with that, it was she was probably one of the villains. I was like, once I heard Livewires come, I was like, good. And then when I was like, I kept saying it, and everybody heard me say it, like, please tell me Silver Banshee's coming, because
That was something me and you were saying straight up.
yeah,
That's a villain they need to do because that's Supergirl's arch nemesis.
yeah,
Like,
like that's really more of
Well,
Supergirl's arch nemesis is Silver Banshee. And then I was
well,
hoping, I really wanted her to be the villain. See, I was hoping. See, what I was fearing was they were gonna go New 52 route with her and be like she's Kara's friend, and like they did it before. Like in New 52, they had it where Silver Banshee and her were friends, and then they go into the curse and everything like that. I was like, no, please don't go that route. But they went the route that they went, and I was, she was very jealous of Kara, and like, you ruined it. It was like, and the more she kept doing herself in, it's just to the point. I'm just like, chick, look
I,
yourself in
I, I
the
was
mirror.
I was I was laughing at her, especially when she tried to frame Kara with that
Yeah,
email shit.
the emails. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it's just stuff like that. But
Like,
her.
you really think Kat who's had Kara as her assistant for like 2 years would really believe that Kara would say something like that?
It was just it was funny, but when they did the crossover, because yeah, we basically segue
Yeah,
into that.
This is basically where we're going to talk about our favorite episodes anyway. So yeah, we're
yeah.
basically. I think everybody's favorite episode is the crossover, right? I feel like that's unanimous.
The crossover, it was something that we've been waiting for. We heard nods and saying that they may do it. No, it's not going to happen. No, and then it was announced that March 28th, yeah, it's going to happen. And I'm like, oh, are they really going to do it? How are they going to do this? Two characters that are on different networks. How is this going to work? And I saw, when I started seeing the title of it, World's Finest, I'm like, okay, I get it. And they really pull, and you just instantly saw the chemistry between Mr. Gustin and Miss Bioness. It was just instant chemistry right
I love
off the
that,
bat.
especially because he was a dick.
Mhm.
His character was a dick to her in Glee, and
Oh yeah.
then they actually got to be nice to each other on this show. Because he talked about it on Twitter a lot. He was like, "Man, I remember I used to apologize to Melissa all the time because I had to be so mean to her." And, he,
It's just
and he's
like
like, "Oh
instantly
man, it
saw
was
that.
great."
I mean, just to seeing how that was the biggest thing for me was okay. It's Flash coming to that world, and we saw on the Flash episode prior to that, we saw the multiverse and we saw Supergirl, and so it was like okay, they acknowledging right there, okay. But then it was just okay, how is he gonna come? And then we saw him come over, and he's with this machine on his chest, and then what did we just see in the last episode of Flash? We saw that on his chest.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
it's making you
Yeah,
wonder.
yeah, and he was like, "How long was I gone?" So it shows there that was the time where Flash traveled to Supergirl's world.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it probably that probably is some indication that he was gone. That's why he asked. I was wondering about that. I was like, is he just saying that, or but the fact is, like instantly chemistry, the whole villains coming together. I was like, yeah, it
Yeah, like
felt
you know the chemistry's on point when like your favorite part of the episode is not when they're fighting the bad guy. Your favorite part of the episode is when Barry gets them ice cream and
yeah.
Kara just goes,
Her
"Yes!"
reaction. Her
You know,
reaction
it was
was
hilarious
so
just to
good.
see that, and to see Win was just like the multiverses. The theory about the multiverse is like I don't remember you talking about that Win, but it's cool to see, and it's his instant like buddy with Barry, and
I
you know,
I loved that. That was when I actually started to really like Win because I'm like, all
and
right, Win
Yeah,
is pretty much
And
us.
and also
Jim's kind of
like
like he's in the background, like I'm not like him now, so
yeah,
but it was just funny just to see like there's like we're going with my cousin, I'm nobody's cousin actually. My name's Barry,
Oh
and
man, my
it
favorite
was,
that man Cat was
yeah, when
that's
she said like you look like
my
a
favorite
stereotypical
joke. That's my
you look
favorite
like a
joke of the season.
stereotypical CW cast. I'm like,
Mhm.
The five of you standing together look like the attractive yet non-threatening, multiracial, diverse cast of a CW show. I was
yeah, it
like,
was so
oh
funny.
my god,
It
that
was
was great.
hilarious to see that,
And she kept calling Barry the Blur, which is
yeah, the
what he really
blur, and once again a
Which
nod
is
to
the
I guess
Smallville.
Smallville,
Yep.
and he's just like, what about the Flash? And then
I love.
I love
I'm pretty
how
sure we were gonna say the same thing, where like Kat figures out that Barry's the Flash, but
yeah,
yet she's
she's like,
still.
did you tell Mr. Allen I said goodbye and everything? She's like, oh, I'm not stupid. I was like, he comes and then the Flash shows up, and what made it funny was like when Flash saves her and he's like, yeah, I just saved you. You were falling, and he said, I didn't really need your help, and
She goes, you were. Why aren't you phased by this? You just fell like 10 stories.
she's like, I'm
You
the
seem okay.
Flash. The who now? Who are you? I'm Supergirl.
I'm serious.
and
Who now?
then
And
I
it's
love
just
that she just
and then
tossed her clothes at him like it was
yeah,
nothing.
yeah, and then later he's just like, here's your clothes.
yeah. Here are your clothes, and the fact is, what bothered me about it. This is one thing I was just like, Barry, you better not do it.
Yeah, like when he was like, "I need your help," I'm Barry Allen. Like, dude,
I was like, oh, you took off your mask.
everybody,
You do that every
everybody,
time. I'm
baby,
like, why do you do
Well,
that?
everybody.
well, he did admit that he looked it up online first, and there's no Barry, there's no Cisco, there's no
Yeah, but
Caitlin.
no, still it may have been that, but still the fact is
I
you just
know.
don't go around and taking your mask off for everybody. He just instantly took it off, and then he looks around. He's like, "There's a central city, but there's no this, no that, and everything like that. There's a central city. There's all this." He's like, "You heard of Green Arrow, Black Canary, Firestorm? And she's like, no.
No.
And and then I liked where he started doing the whole, okay, imagine that there's an Earth where the Nazis won World War II, JFK was never assassinated and everything like that. And
But
I love
I love that we got
Time.
I love that we got the indication that Barry's been to the crime syndicate world because Wynn's like, how about a world where we're all evil? And he's like, I've been there. It sucks.
I gotta ask though, is that a crime syndicate nod, or is that a nod to Earth 2?
I
Where
think that was more of an Earth 2 nod.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it was both because the way he's like, they're bad versions of us, and Earth 2 had a lot of bad versions. So he's like, been there.
Yeah, that's
So I was like, yeah, that's an Earth 2 nod. And, he just said, and then that's what just went, how could you do this? And, well, he just zoomed, and I just love Kara, yes, with the ice cream.
oh, that was my favorite. That was my favorite part of the entire episode. I just go,
You see, and I got hit with a particle sword, and I became a superhero. And she's just like, and you just instantly see that chemistry between them. And I love their team.
and they're constantly like racing each other and taking jabs at each other. It's like, I got here first. I let you get here first.
I'll let
That's
you
why I
get
did a perimeter search.
And the thing about it is that once again, what I liked about it was, in most crossovers, is that it was instant respect for both characters. Nobody outshined one another, even though it's
also, there wasn't a fight. Thank you,
No, yeah.
Jesus. There wasn't a
that
fight.
was another thing. No stereotypical superhero fight, and then they come together. No, it was instant. Okay, who are you? How'd you get here? Never a misunderstanding fight. It was instant gratitude and respect for each character, and you just saw that with them, and when she helped Barry get back to his world, you could see that she really, really gained a lot of care for him. Like that hug looked legit, like almost as if being not even in character, just her coming on. Miss Biena saying, "Thank you for coming on my show. Thank you for." And
at the same time, they've been friends for a long time too because they started out together. So
yeah, so it was instant gratitude right there for me. Yeah, I will admit that because people wrote on when I talked about it, was like, I didn't like it too much because Flash and Supergirl got beat up a lot. I'm like, I don't necessarily say they got beat up. It was just that they got to balance it.
They got kind of outclassed because Barry's not used to this world, and Kara is just used to punch. She doesn't because she's still new at this. Like she thinks she can punch her problems.
And I think when they did when Supergirl did her super breath and Barry did I was like, yeah, that's so cool. Let them teaming up, and I thought that was great, But over that episode really just made you literally look at it and just say, if she came over to Barry's world, it would work. It would not look stupid. It would work. And
also, I love the timing of this, that we get a real world's finest just right after that thing happened. But anyway,
and it just made you wonder, like, okay, if that's the case, then could we see her on? And then it was like, okay, and then you start seeing all these sites, go on and talk about, okay, she was on, can she be on Arrow? And I'm just like, no, she can't.
No, fuck that. Nope. Don't ruin Melissa with that.
Just as an FYI, the reason why people keep talking about her on Arrow was because Berlanti brought it up.
Yeah, it's basically to the point now. You look at it. I look at it from it's like, if they brought her over, if she came somehow through, and he came, maybe and she came on Flash's show, I would be accepting it. But it'd be like, yeah, like maybe one time a deal. Like maybe I even thought about it. Like, okay, maybe Barry goes back to her as like, I need your help. Can you come with me? Maybe a villain that she may need help on, but then there's all this other talk like, could we see Power Girl now and all this other stuff like.
I guess
Yeah,
that transitions perfectly into like the last part of the show where we
Yeah.
talk about our theories for
theories.
season two, which is pretty much basically all it is going to be what's in the pod.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll go.
I've got a couple outside of it, but I'll save it for later.
Okay, so I'll go first. Like my biggest thing. So I subscribe to Kevin Smith's YouTube channel. And you know I watched his Fat Man on Batman videos like his podcast with Mark Bernardin on his YouTube channel. That's pretty fun stuff. So as we know, Kevin Smith is directing the next episode of Flash that's coming out, and because he got to direct that episode, like the people on Flash showed him future episodes to see what impact his episodes have in the future and what it leads up to. And he got to see like early versions of the finale without the effects finished and stuff. And he said the finale was amazing, but oh my God, guys, it has a huge impact on Supergirl. Wait to see. Wait and see. So here's my thing is I think the impact that Flash has on Supergirl is the pod. And I think what it is whatever Flash does that reverberates all throughout the multiverse that we don't know yet. I think that might have actually opened a breach, and the thing that fell from the sky that looks exactly like Kara's pod is actually Kara, but not Kara, Karen. I
Oh.
think that brings Power Girl into the Supergirl universe,
And
and it'll kind of be like Many Happy Returns, where just like how in Peter David's Many Happy Returns story, Linda Danvers got to hang out with Silver Age Supergirl.
Mm.
We'll get to see Kara hang out with Karen, and of course they don't have. And the thing about Karen is because she's from a different world, we don't have to just recast Melissa Benoist and stuff her costume to make her boobs
Stuff
big.
her costume. Yeah, you mean stuff one part of her costume.
But yeah,
yeah,
like and another. So the second theory I have, which I like, but I don't. I have three different theories about the pod. Theory number two is both my other two theories have to do with Cadmus. So theory number one having to do with Cadmus. The pod that fell from the sky could be a Cadmus experiment using Kara's DNA and a bit of some information they got from Indigo, and they end up making a techno Kryptonian hybrid, aka Matrix, who actually was raised by Jeremiah Danvers in secret, and taught by Jeremiah Danvers like this is your family and stuff like that. So he managed to like set up her escape, and that's how she ended up falling in the National City. And so that's where we get Linda Danvers, Matrix Supergirl. That's my other theory. And theory number three, which I think is kind of the least likely, but I would still like it to happen, it's a Cadmus tube, but it's Project KR, aka Superboy. But kind of going on with our friend Kat's theory, instead of Superboy being a Lex Luthor Superman clone, it's actually kind of an X-23 situation where it's a male, where the Superboy clone is actually a male clone of Kara.
huh.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, and I do think that whether or not he's in the plot, we could be seeing Superboy next season because they've said that the whole underlying villain for season two will be Project Cadmus. They'll be like a
Yeah, so yeah,
organization.
yeah,
Personally,
that's why I brought in the Matrix Super as a possibility too. But go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna say, for my theories of in the pod, I have two, and then I've heard one that I just want to briefly mention.
Hmm.
First one is, of course, Karen, because I think Karen. And the thing about Karen is she'd also fit nicely into the civilian part of the show because when we leave, Kara is in charge of finding a new assistant for Cat Grant. So it'd be like my other cousin or something like that. And So I think
Or
that would
honestly, or honestly, she could be like, honestly, this is the backstory I think she could come up with for Kat. Like, I think she could be like, well, remember how I told you I was adopted? Well, I was able to actually track down one of my relatives, and this is her. You know,
yeah,
like this is my long lost older sister or something.
that would work too, and that would explain why they look more alike. But also the second theory of mine is it's lesser known character, but what if they maybe brought in Christopher Kent?
Oh, okay. So, but then that would involve Zod, and I don't think they would do Zod.
Well, maybe do a twist on it,
Chris
Maybe.
Kent.
I could
like
see it.
like maybe bring in like say he's related to like Non or Astra or something. But
Man.
the the last one that I want to bring up, which isn't mine, I will openly admit this isn't mine, and I think it's highly unlikely. But I heard someone bring up the fact of what if it's one of the super pets?
I would be
Yeah,
so down
yeah,
for
I
that.
heard that. I've heard
Crypto!
that. I've
Crypto!
heard
Let's
that.
get some Crypto the Super Dog or Streak. Well, actually, Kara had Streaky the Super Cat, not
Yeah,
Crypto the Super Dog.
streaky. All right. All right. My theories on what's in the pod actually took me a day after that episode just to really think. Okay, who's in the pod? I remember I was up, like, who's in the pod? Like, and I really started to think. Yes, definitely Kryptonian based. And first one, my theory was definitely was Corista War U. She was a Kryptonian that happened in the last issues of the Last Sun story arc of Superman.
I know
She
what you're talking about.
she was a older Kryptonian that was already on Earth. They kind of classified as the third Kryptonian. Um, but then I was just like, nah, that can't be it. Then I started thinking about it from a point of view of just how Kara said, "Oh my God." I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And I didn't. I said Mon-El at one point, but I'm like, no. Maybe because they have stated that they're gonna bring in Legion superheroes sometime, but I'm like, nah. And then a lot of the stuff did come around. Different versions of Supergirl, like all the others, Matrix and all those. But then the one that really kind of just like I kept going back to how she said, "Oh my God."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you're thinking that they're gonna try to line it up with Rebirth and do that, huh? Is that where you're
I
going?
thought I my theory is that that's her mother in that.
Oh, her mom. See,
Oh,
see where I was thinking you were gonna go is that they were gonna make it be her dad, and they're gonna do the whole cyborg Superman thing
I
that
I
way.
I,
oh,
I said it's either a family member, just the way, like, what if that Kara, yeah, she got it, but what if Zor-El actually put Alora in a pod
That
too,
would
but
be
it
that would be
took
really
off just
interesting,
a little later.
especially considering that would be a good way to bring the actress back who played Astra and Alora.
Yeah,
Man,
and just
that
the
would
it would
be,
way
oh
cause
my God.
it
it
would
was just
cause.
the way that it was just a. I'm sorry, just let me finish. It was
Sorry.
just the way that she said, "Oh my God," that just really kind of got me. I'm like, yeah, she said it kind of like not like, "Oh my God." No, she said like, "Oh my God." Like, so instantly, if they had zoomed in and just show who's in it, I would have. So whenever the next season start up, and they're gonna pick up right with that, oh my God, and they show it, I'm like, okay. But if, well, I mean, everybody's theories are pretty good. It could be another Kara, it could be this, but
Yeah.
does the thing? But also, does Cadmus have DNA on Kara? It makes you wonder, but probably does because they have her adopted father.
Yeah,
Yep.
and now that you mention it, though, her mom. is like valid because it would also cause drama because she she was fighting with her sister, but she was still her sister, so that would cause some animosity between her and Alex. And also, isn't she like Greg Berlanti's wife or something? I know she's
Hmm?
got the
Is,
Berlanti last name.
is she? Is that Gargoyle? Let me.
It
Yeah, somebody look
the
that up.
I'm
the
gonna
actress.
Google that.
I thought I remembered seeing that her last name is Berlanti, but I know
Well,
that
let me
she's also a Broadway star.
keep talking and I'll Google it.
But yeah, it's just it makes sense. But also, I was telling Jay this. We know for a matter of fact that that pod scene was just like something that they filmed if they got a second season. Like we wouldn't
And
have
now,
seen that.
they did get officially renewed a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Like they announced it. So
In terms of that, I think personally, I'm hoping that Supergirl actually, in terms of we get to see more guest stars. Like
Yeah, and
I was looking at the guest stars of the other DC heroes that they've shown. John, great. Uh, I hated what they did with Red Tornado. I
oh
hated.
oh
yeah,
yeah, that was really
yeah,
shitty. That was
yeah.
I
really
That was
shitty.
that was another big negative. But
that was another negative. Like that just instantly
yeah,
screamed just like
but
laziness. I was
while
like,
we're
Bootleg. It was bootleg vision. That's what I'm.
yes,
He's not.
bootleg.
while we're while we're waiting for Jay though, I can say there's another big theory that I've had like since almost the beginning of the show, which I think that they could do in season two, and that is that James actually becomes this universe's Steel. That he
He's
puts on
definitely big enough.
the armor. He puts on the armor and becomes Steel. And I even told Jay that there's almost a theory that Wynn will make it because now that Wynn and Kara have started to mend their relationship and become friends, he started to mend his relationship with James, and they've become more friends.
Dang it, I can't find it for some reason. Google's not working on my phone. Chris, you got it? Are you looking for it?
Oh, hold on. Horror
Because
Superman.
I want to know this before we.
And let me see what else was. Oh, as much as I love her, I gotta admit they dropped the ball also on Indigo, where her looking too
Yeah,
mystique.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love I love Laura Vandervoort. And that like she was a childhood crush of mine for a long time because man, when I saw that version of Supergirl, my jaw hit the ground. Like, damn, those
I was like,
eyes,
yeah,
man.
that was another
Those
wasn't a letdown, but I was just like, man, she looks too much like Mystique and not like what Indigo is supposed to look like. The same thing, but it wasn't as bad as Rustman, aka Red Tornado, but it was. And I'm looking at it from was like, if there's characters that I want to see on Supergirl, um, this is the place to kind of bring in like a lot of the powered superheroes. I mean, they could go with. I still think they could do Captain Comet. Still think they could do him.
yeah,
Huh.
definitely think Adam's gonna get his powers soon. I definitely think that's
Um,
gonna happen.
Still think they
Uh,
could do him. I'm trying to find.
oh yeah,
Okay.
let's talk about
Um.
Maxima real quick, cause holy shit, I didn't
Yeah.
expect
That
that.
was.
Oh, here we should go. Oh, yeah. Here. Here we go. Hold on. Damn it. I just had it.
It.
Um,
It looks like. It. I looked
Played
up,
by actress
but
Laura. Let me make sure.
I think her last name is Benanti, and not Berlanti, which is weird because it's so close.
Well, she's actually a brunette. Well, she's from New York. Oh, okay, cool. Um, trying to see if she's who is she? Is she related to anybody? Okay, I can't. I'm going to this stupid wiki page and giving me
It
nothing.
looks like they just have similar last names.
Just
Oh,
going.
okay. So she's not Berlanti's
She's
wife. Never mind
she's
then.
she's her real name is Laura Benanti. So you can see how I'd make the mistake.
Yeah, no, that's really close. And I think his wife's name is Laura. So huh?
No, she's no, she's married to a guy called Patrick Brown.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
was
okay.
saying.
Well,
Um,
she's been married 3 times. Shit. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, like Maxima though, like that was crazy. Like I was happy
Oh
to
yeah.
see.
Okay. Yeah. That was the other guest star we saw, Maxima. Played by Eve Torres, former WWE wrestler, who now is married to one of the Gracies of the famous Gracie family of MMA. Um, I was shocked. I was like, I know that girl, and I looked as soon as I got close. I was like, whoa! But then I'm just like, that's it. Like, I was a little kind of disappointed.
Although I love that little line. She's like, I tried. We could have been family, Kara Zor-El. I tried to make your cousin my mate, and she just goes,
Yeah,
ew,
yeah.
gross.
Like, I was glad they kept that. Like, she tried to wean
Yeah. And
Superman. I was like, yeah, okay, but other than that, I was just like, yeah, don't do that. Like, I don't need to hear that. Like, but her just like, okay, she was one of the prisoners. I'm like, really? Like, I know Maxima could be a little bit thick-headed, but she's not a criminal. Like, I was just
Yeah,
like,
I hope
she was a member of the Justice League back in the '90s.
yeah, it's
I
like,
hope she makes an appearance in season 2. But yeah,
um,
yeah, I looked it up. Just FYI,
Uh-huh.
Greg Berlanti is actually gay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I,
he's
I,
in.
I,
He's
I thought. Let me see
he's in
who
a.
else. Hero I would like to see. I saw. Maybe they could do a version of Ms. Martian.
Oh yeah,
That's something else I wanted to talk about actually. Yeah,
if
I
you
was hoping we were gonna
if
see
you
Miss.
saw. Sorry,
Go
Maybe
ahead.
we could.
I was
Maybe,
just gonna say that if you saw my video that I did about Supergirl season 2, which weirdly enough it was like the week after that they confirmed it. But in mine I'll go and I do superheroes and villains that I might like to see, and she is one of them because I think it would be interesting whether it's if it's Karen in the pod or something. I think it would be interesting for Kara to have an actual like superhuman best friend, like
Yeah,
a best
that's what
and
I'm saying
actually,
because if during Johns' run of Teen Titans, her and McGann were like this. They were
like
like
that.
this.
Yeah.
They were close.
yeah,
So
and
I wouldn't mind seeing like what if it is one of Jean's daughters and she's like, okay, well, I want to help her out, father. So okay, here, well, I won't look too I won't look too Martian like. So I'll just go. I'll still look green, but I'll look more like her with the long hair. And
Just none of this.
yeah,
Hello, Megan.
yeah,
So I
but
mean, Ms. Martian would be good. I was
um,
One that me and Brian just constantly kick around,
I
and
keep saying I was gonna say Batgirl or was he
no,
Batgirl?
actually, I see. It's kind of in that family, but one me and Brian
yeah,
always say because we know for sure that she's not gonna ever show up in the movies. It's gonna be very unlikely. Cassie Sandsmark. Cassie Sandsmark is who I would want to see as
yeah,
Kara's
yeah. She'd bring in
super
a
best friend.
she'd bring in a good parallel because it's hero that's kind of in the shadow of a bigger hero who they're related to.
Yep.
So
I
it
think it would.
kind
I think it would. I
of
think it would be
strengthens
so
it there.
cool to see Cassie in there, or even I
And
know in
also,
Brian's video he also brought up Stephanie. Stephanie would be a good one.
yeah, because
I would love to see.
the
See,
thing,
the thing is, like, she's already on the movie. See, I don't. I'm really tired of, they can't do it because they're in the movies. But it'd be
well, see,
so
the
cool
thing is,
if it'd be so
sorry,
cool if they could do Wonder Woman on there and she comes by the
Yeah,
city
because
and
it
just
would be
like,
it would they could do the whole thing where like Wonder Woman's like they could acknowledge that Wonder Woman helps train Kara to control her strength because she trained with the Amazons to learn to
it would
control
just
her
be like,
power.
yeah,
like she comes over there and says like, she's like, Clark has told us so much about you. Like some of the Justice League come over to visit her and see how she is. Like, and basically they could easily go into the route of like, the reason why we've been coming over, like, testing you out was we want you to join, like something like that. Like, you see how they can go with that, like, but with
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
with uh, Diana, it could be like, I want to take you somewhere. Takes her to that mascara and she
I
learns
know,
great
I know,
like that.
but yeah, the reason why I brought up Steph though, if you haven't seen the video, is the fact that currently they're having her go in the comics go back to her spoiler personality, and so if they brought her into live action, they probably want to keep it the same. And so you could do spoiler without necessarily the Bat family.
and her and Win could be so cool together because they'd be like, "Oh, you have daddy issues too. My dad was a supervillain.
Well, not
My
only
dad's a
that, but both of
supervillain."
their dads were evil super geniuses.
Yep. Although, to be fair, Cluemaster wasn't a super genius until the New 52. Cluemaster was just a bargain basement supervillain up
I
until the
get
New
you.
52.
I get you, but also one other hero that I thought about, which initially I was just inspired by seeing a video that Deadpoolzilla did on Legends of Tomorrow, but I actually think it might be interesting if they brought in Adam Strange.
I could totally see
I,
that.
okay, that's another theory. I was definitely going to go very more extraterrestrial. That's why I was saying keep it. If they're going to do it, keep it a lot extra. So we going with all those what
Oh,
alien is?
we did get a name drop of the main man
Yeah. So
cause they
that's another one.
cause they were like cause what was it, that one episode where
She's
they were
like,
like
we don't.
intergalactic bounty hunter, you mean him? And John was like, no, if he was here we would know.
Yeah. So we'll probably see Lobo sometime, and I swear to God, it better be the Lobo I want to see, not that crap now.
Yeah,
Um,
they better get somebody like big and like freaking burly, like man,
let me see.
they can't do boy band Lobo.
Yeah, let me see who else I would want to see. If they start, I mean, in terms of any other, because they'll probably bring in another Superman villain. If they bring in another Superman villain,
I
um,
would be cool with Metallo because I don't think
I
Metallo
was
is ever
definitely
going
going
to
to
be
go there.
animated.
I was going to say Metallo or Parasite. I would love to see those two come over.
Parasite would be really interesting,
You
especially with
know,
his whole thing.
and I'm hoping they do more issues on the Bizarro, the one that she was really sad about, that Kara put in like stasis lock or something
Yep.
like that one. But yeah, the man, what is Adam Strange's race called again? What do they call the?
That's from Rand, the Randians, yeah.
Yeah, the Iranians. Yeah, maybe no, they can't do the Thanagarians because they.
Yeah, because that's already on Flash, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Uh,
Oh.
I keep they
Oh
keep
man,
saying they.
they could possibly do like freaking Jade or whatever. Oh.
We do know they're probably going to do the Legion of Superheroes because we saw the ring, we saw that,
Hmm.
so you know that they're coming. So
And
we're probably going to see.
Supergirl had a thing with Brainiac 5 in the past,
Yeah,
so
so we'll probably see either Brainiac 5, probably Saturn Girl, Cosmic, maybe Chameleon Boy. I want to see him.
Timberwolf,
That was my guy.
Timberwolf, yeah,
Timberwolf,
Timberwolf,
that's my dude right there.
Lightning
And
Lad.
yeah, Lightning Lad, but maybe they could do the Wonder Twins on that show. Hey,
They could do like an Infinity Inc. thing, and they could have like Natasha Iron show up, like
I
Ryan
would
was talking
take
about.
I would take Natasha showing up, and I don't know which role she would play, which serial she would go by, but I wouldn't mind seeing her. Maybe they could do Aztec.
Oh, that could be. Oh,
Well,
speaking another since we're talking extraterrestrial, I know they're probably going to use Ted Cord in the Flash Arrowverse eventually. But what if they bring in freaking Jaime Reyes and the actual Scarab Blue Beetle?
You mean a better
well,
Um,
version,
well,
yeah,
right?
like no,
Not like
no. We're not talking about the Smallville. Forget that. No,
well,
no.
um, thing is about Ted though, real quick, sorry,
Uh-huh.
is the rumor mill goes that they initially wanted Ted for the Arrowverse, but
Yeah, and then
Blake is Ray.
Ralph ended up getting recasted instead of as Ted as Ray. Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason why was because the DC studio execs said that they had a plan for him. Because rumor is that they've got some, they won't say what it is, but they've got some plan for the blue and gold.
Yeah. I'll, I'll believe that when I see it. Um. Anyway, so I feel like we've gone on
Well,
enough.
just
Or
real
go ahead,
quick.
Brian. You got any left?
Well, I was just gonna say real quick, are there any villains that you want to see?
I just said
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We went through a few. We talked about Metallo, Parasite, and we said we wanted to see more of Bizarro, and
Well,
we said Lobo also, but real Lobo.
I had to step away for a second. Sorry. What about Mongol?
I feel like
I,
Mongo's
I I feel like any of those
more
characters would just be used as okay, like even like for example, they bring in Apocalypse. It's just like, yeah, we're just gonna use you to get to your cousin. That's how I look at stuff like that. It's like,
yeah.
Well,
That's what I'm
well,
saying.
Mongol. Well, I just throw out Mongol because I think it would be interesting to see a live action War World.
Oh yeah, it would be cool, but again, like that's just that. I think it would just be kind of for her, like the bigger guys using them to get to Clark, and
I
that would
didn't
kind
mean
of
it
do
like
him to
that.
me.
I meant it like maybe he wants two champions, and so he brings Kara and like John or Kara and Alex, something like that.
yeah, he would
I
never
could see
bring
that.
it. No, Mongol would never take a human. That's I know that for sure.
I know.
No,
Because
no, he does not. He looks
Well,
at
I just mean
human.
maybe by accident.
he believes the human species is too weak to
Yeah.
last in
I just meant
Waterworld.
maybe a human would come by accident.
I think
Hmm.
But anyway,
Who else could possibly show
maybe
up as
maybe
a
maybe ah sh- let me see. I'm
I know
thinking.
he's I know he's lower tier, but since we're doing Project Cadmus, what about Assassin?
maybe Blockbuster? That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, that's who I'm
Yep.
thinking. They may go
Mhm.
blockbuster. Um, Too bad they can't do the real Queen Bee. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Um,
Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one. Alana, sorry. Zatanna. I'd take
oh
that.
my goodness!
It's
Oh,
a good one.
You
Zatanna,
you
please.
see my face? Yeah, yeah.
That's a good
well,
Get
one
on
right
that.
there.
they
Zatanna,
Let's get
they
on
please.
did
that like ASAP.
they did hint at
If they
magic
would bring in,
with
they
Ben.
would bring in basically. What
Just get the actress who played her in Smallville. That chick was spot
Or
on.
my fan cast has always been her voice in Young Justice, Lacey
Oh yeah,
Chandler.
her voice. her voice actress in Young Justice does look a lot like her. Actually, I would take that. Didn't she voice Meg in early seasons of Family Guy?
Yeah, she did. She was also in Mean Girls
That's what I thought.
and Party of Five and
Um,
the Lost in Space movie.
oh man, now Alana's got me thinking about Zatanna and Supergirl. Now that's just gonna be all I want. Oh man, I'm just gonna be I'm not gonna be satisfied until that actually happens. Oh jeez, now man,
Oh,
now
and
I'm just gonna
also,
keep going.
just
Yeah,
speaking
I'm
of
just
villains,
saying.
real quick. Speaking of villains, though, they did. I think it was Berlanti or someone said that they're toying with the idea of maybe um, bringing in alternate versions of Flash villains into Supergirl.
Huh. So it's like this world's version of like other. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah,
I could see that.
just they better not do anything like the Modes.
I would like to see Kara versus Gorilla Grodd because that would be pretty awesome.
Um, oh, that's another good one, Alana. I'm looking at what you wrote. How about Icon and Rocket?
Oh, I could take that.
Oh, yeah.
That would be pretty awesome, especially
Oh,
because like Icon's race is very much like Kryptonians.
Yep.
oh. Since they're not afraid to say that older heroes exist, what if they brought in Thunder and Lightning?
Oh yes,
And Lightning.
that would be cool. That would be cool. Um, man, there's a lot of interesting possibilities.
I could see them also pulling off, if you want to get like a little bit more mystic, I could see them pulling off Hawk and Dove.
That's funny because Alana just put that.
Great
I
minds think
mean,
alike, sis.
I
She
mean,
just said the last one, Hawk and Dove.
besides, Hog and Dove aren't going anywhere since that Titan show got scrapped.
Yeah. Even though they say that John says that they've got some big plan for the Titans.
Oh, what the fuck ever. I unless they're actually gonna make Cyborg into a Titan, I doubt that movies are gonna do shit with the
Well,
Titans.
I doubt that they'll do it now, but the big rumor was that they were going to, instead of doing a Cyborg movie, turn it into a Titans movie.
Oh no, I would hate that even more than just putting him directly into the Justice League. Because then why? Because then like if then what makes Vic so special that only Vic gets sent to the Justice League and not Vic, Dick,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else?
Yeah, all right. Now I think we ought to cut it because we're getting off topic now.
But
Yeah.
we're going off the rails. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We obviously had a lot of fun. Uh, talking with you guys about Supergirl. Sorry we didn't do much of a Q&A this time, but
Yeah.
it is we have been going on for a bit now. So what do we got going? What do we got going on next, Chris?
Probably the next big thing in terms of for the whole team, guys, is definitely Cap. We're definitely going to be at the round table for that.
Yeah,
So we got that coming up. That's the big thing. But also we got the other segments on the show, the other series. Of course, I still have to put up episode 4 of Versus Match. I haven't put it up yet. I'm gonna put that up soon. I know they're gonna start Jay and Kyle will start
Yep. We're gonna start Comic Convo, which is gonna be our comic review show.
Comic Combo soon. So they're gonna start that soon. And pretty much I am gonna start, guys. I think I'm gonna do it on the core page. Actually, I'm gonna start taking resumes, guys. Putting out a open resume, guys.
So it's gonna be like a YouTubers core initiative type of thing.
Yeah. So anybody. So yeah, I'm gonna put out a resume to anybody else who wants to join the core. I'm gonna be on there, and then I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna talk to you guys and give you a little chat. Maybe I'll even, if you have Google this, or even if you have uh, which I don't get on much, but I'll jump back on because I've actually been back on it for a while. But got Skype. I'll talk to you on Skype.
Oh
About
man, Skype. That brings back memories.
that memories, or in the core or something like that. But yeah, I have been talking about bringing new members in, but this time doing it right instead of doing it wrong this time around. I did offer it to a girl who's in the chat right now, but she says she's way too busy to do it. That's fine. Um, and we asked another girl of ours, Serena, but she's more of just a big supporter of ours
Yeah,
instead of.
she prefers to just stay into the comments, and besides, she doesn't want to do videos.
I'm not gonna force her. That's fine. I would love to have Ben on language. That's the only way you're gonna understand him, and I don't sign language. So, but the thing is, like guys, because a lot of the older members have left, or they're too busy, or they just don't do YouTube anymore. They're done with it. Just a lot of them. There's like an alumni. I have to finish that alumni on the page. You can see it on the channel right here. There's like an alumni of people who were there, and there were some members that I really wish were back. Like I remember a member of Sick Rick Joseph's. Dude, is so funny. He used to make us die laughing time, man. We used to joke so much with him because it was like almost all the time we would joke and say to him, guys, yo, Rick, are you high? No. And that time he stoned down. He's so funny, but he was so funny to be around, and he would show us things like he would show videos of him. He had a video where, because he lives in Minnesota, and he had a video where he tumbled down this big snow hill, and it was just so funny. I miss guys like that. I miss talking to the first lady of the Corps, which was Deanna. I miss her a lot. I miss the princess of the Corps. I miss Kayla. I miss her a lot. She was the second female of the Corps. And I miss Melina, which didn't even get really started on this. I missed a lot of the ladies of the Corps. I miss that. I do miss the founding members, the founding two of the members of the Corps that was just started by, it was just three of us, and it blew up from there. It was just me, Victor, and Tyler. And there are times where you can go back and listen to just the three of us talk. It was just us three before it blew up into, I expanded it then, and then I tried to expand it again with another team, and that went south real quick.
Yeah, that's actually where I jumped on.
Yeah. So, but I do miss some of the members. But one thing also, and I'm gonna end it with this, guys, is that we're also trying to do more, guys. Is have guest stars come on, guest stars to the Corps.
Yep, and
come on here.
I've already talked to the Frontline, our good friends over at Frontline, which I'm also a part of, and both Kat, Jay, and Mike have all said if they ever have time and they're free to come on, they definitely will try to.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be interesting? Our very own crossover.
Yeah, stuff like that. But there's still big things in the process. But we definitely the big in terms of the big thing for the team is definitely that cap, round table.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. We're definitely doing that. That's not even a maybe. Because that one we were definitely very.
Because I'm pretty sure most of us are gonna try to see it as soon as possible.
Yeah, I know for sure that I'm seeing it the first day. I'm definitely seeing that.
Yeah,
me and Malcolm.
I'm midnighting this. Like
me and Malcolm are definitely gonna see it the first day. So
opening weekend, hopefully.
Malcolm has talked about even putting something on this channel as well. You know, Malcolm, my brother, is a part of the team as well, but he's even talked about maybe starting up him and Kyle's, because they had a series they were going to do.
Also,
And
so this is gonna replace the Stephen Malcolm show? Is gonna be the Kyle and Malcolm show?
I think so, or just
Oh man.
or something else. But Malcolm has talked about doing stuff over here. But you know, the fact is, like, there's still big things coming, guys, for the channel. You know, so follow us and subscribe. I mean, it won't hurt. It's just a bunch of guys just doing geeky stuff, like, and just, I mean, I think the only other thing we are definitely trying to get, we're definitely going to try to get I am definitely trying to get back to doing the Q&A sessions here on the core. We used to do that, like a group of guys, we come and we do a live Q&A where people could ask us questions and stuff, but kind of fell off of it. We only did 2, and that sucked. I've been looking at kind of the vids that the core has done. Definitely want to get more into the topics. Definitely. I
Yeah.
started something called the core interviews, where I took one member of the core and I would interview them, like just ask them just random questions, like start like, how did you come up with your name and how long you've been on YouTube, blah blah blah, things like that. And I stopped it, and I think I stopped it with Tony. I think he was the last one I did. So, but yeah, I'm putting out a core initiative. So if you think, I would like to hang out with those guys, or I like to be a part of the team. And if you want to be, do you just tell us you want to be a recurring member, or you want to be a part of the main core? Because there's only like a few of us that are part of the main core, then there's the recurring roster, like cats that are a part of the team, but they only when they're available. So yeah,
Yep.
I'm out for long enough.
All right. Well, like we've been doing a lot of these TV episodes, guys, and you guys have been really liking them. So definitely, even if this is post live, leave your comments about Supergirl, your theories, your likes, your dislikes. Let's try to get Superman on this show, because let's face it, we all want that to happen. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. And as always, like I always say, once comic book geek, always comic book geek. And until next time, we'll catch you later. Up, up, and away. Peace.